The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited.
The East is where we're from.
Shalom, shalom. How are you?
The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king.
Come on in, come on in.
Took us down, we fell. With a great escape, we went.
How are you doing this evening?
The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim, from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the
House of Hawaii. Hit the like button as you come in. Blessings.
Zebulon, from Panama, Gat, the North American Indians,
Simeon.
the Dominicans, our highest gathering Israel.
The Arabs and Africans told us at gunpoint.
Together our wives and children then sold us.
Bless you, my brothers and sisters. Bless you.
Of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of
Babylon, we found our brothers here. A higher gatherer.
in Colombia,
Oh,
Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, our highest gathering Israel. The Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, our highest gathering Israel. Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be. Judah,
come on in.
Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gat, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering Israel.
That's right, brothers and sisters. The Most High is gathering Israel. I'm Elder Ricard of the Gathering of Christ Church here with our weekly blog talk show, okay? Live throughout the four corners of the earth. We welcome you. And with this particular broadcast, I know a lot of sisters be calling in. We love you calling in, all right? We love you calling in, all right? Because it speaks to the lies they're putting out there that being an Israelite is a male or man thing. So I love the fact that there's so many sisters who support this work and continue to stand with the Gathering of Christ Church. But at the end of this broadcast, once the lines are opened up, I would like to hear from some brothers, okay, initially, before I bring in the sisters, okay? All right. I just want to bring in some brothers first and then some sisters because we have a serious discussion today, and I would like to hear some of the brothers' perspectives out there for this. Initially. So I'm not saying that not to call in through Blog Talk. Come on in, sisters. You can call. But allow the brothers, I want to hear the brothers' opinion on some of what we have to talk about this evening here. All right? Hold on. I'm trying to correct. It won't allow me to save. Oh, there it is. Blog Talk is already now. So we have a serious discussion tonight with what's coming down the pipeline before 2030, and I would like to discuss this, okay? Usually when some of these discussions happens, right, it turns into a back and forth, a blame game, to a degree where no one really come to a consensus on what to do together, okay? What to do together in preparation for what's coming to this world. All right. So hopefully we can, men and women together, can get over any feelings they might have personally or whatever the case is, and hear this broadcast for what it is. Okay. A lonely future for America. Now, when I say America, I'm speaking of the spirit in general of America, because many Western world countries has been influenced by America. Okay. So it's not, just saying entirely, this discussion is not entirely but about America, because there's a certain spirit that comes with America. One spirit in particular that we've all noticed is the constant attack on traditional values, family, the belief in God. Okay. And what I find when America is trying to convince other countries into accepting democracy, it's outright telling countries to get down with America's sin. Right? But I digress. I'm going to go right into it. A lonely future in America. Now, before I do that, usually I make a few announcements, and I'm going to do those in a moment. Right? But before I do that, I'm going to play a song. Let's see here. I want to play a song real quick, if it's on this computer. If it's on this computer, I'll play it. A matter of fact, I know how to find it. One moment. I'll get it this way. I will get it this way. One moment. Bear with me. Because, there's a method to why I want to play this song first. There's a reason for it in the midst of this conversation this evening. All right. 1 second. 1 second. Channel. Bear with me. I'm going to the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel here. All right. Videos. All right. Playlist. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. All right. Let me try this another way, since it's not allowing me to do this. 1 second. I'm going to do it this way then. Stick with me. There it is. All right. Stick with me. I'm going somewhere with this. I am going somewhere. A lonely, y'all see the topic. Hit the like button as you come in. We have a great broadcast prepped for this evening. A lonely future for America. All right. There it is right there. I'm going to play this song real quick. Right? There's a reason, especially for this time of year, right? Why? Because this time of year we hear the bells singing, people coupling, for once out of the year, the majority of the people, regardless of their backgrounds, are generally friendly, right? Let's see. All right. Here it is here. Okay. Hit the like button. Come on. Here it is. I'm going to play the song. Now, this song in particular, I wrote this song, right? And we did this song in really before the mid 2000s. Let me play this song real quick. And there's a reason behind it. Listen to it. The topic of our discussion today, a lonely future in America, okay? I'm singing this song. I wrote this song. But what I would like you to hear, right? I would like brothers and sisters to hear the spirit, the mindset men were in, okay? When it comes to relationships and care for desiring to be in a good relationship. Listen to this. This is where we once were, myself included. All right. If the song will play, hold on. All right, tell me if y'all can hear this. Let's see.
Searching for someone like you. They say fairy tales aren't real.
Listen to the words.
You're a dream come true. Just when I thought my heart was lost, you came into my life. And when my world was upside down, you helped me make it right. I wanna know what it's like to be in love. Find someone just to call my own. I wanna know what it's like to be in love. To find someone to call my own. I wanna know what it's like to be in love. To find someone just to call my own. Let me know what it's like.
Listen to the words. Listen to the words.
Ever give my entire all again, but you came into my life, and now I want to sacrifice. You are changing my perception with your honest love and affection, giving my heart away. Maybe I'm falling for you, baby. I wanna know what it's like to be Never thought I'd give my heart again. Make me trust again. Make me want again my all. But when I laid my eyes on you, I felt something old, brand new. I wanted to be in love. To be in love. To find someone to call my own. Wanna know what it's like to be in love. And hope to find someone to call my own. Yeah. To be in love. To find someone to call my own. I think I know what I like. To be in love. To be in love. To call my own. To be in love.
Now, why did I play that, brothers and sisters? Why did I play that song? Back when we were writing songs and doing music, you talking about 90s and the early 2000s, men were actually writing songs truly about how they felt. In particular, love, family, and what I can speak for myself, the love black men has always had for black women. I mean, some people might have thought, looking on the outside or whatever the case is, that it's corny or whatever the case is. But men genuinely want a relationship, a family, legacy. And we were even singing about it. Like, you can't make songs like that today without being called something, right? But that's where we were. Unfortunate for the world, this is not where men or women are now. Now, some people might ask, this is a Bible discussion, right? Why is Elder bringing it this way? Because at one time, music aligned with the values we believed. Growing up in church, believing in God. Even secular music didn't go too far beyond the scope of family, tradition. Let's stay together. Let's work it out. Now, were relationships perfect? No. Was my mother and father relationships perfect? No one can say their relationships were perfect. But relationships had what? Staying power. Regardless of an initial circumstance where there were trouble in paradise. And I'm not just talking about folks, you're going to see, I'm starting here, but I'm taking this a whole nother way. Bear with me. Hit the like button, folks. This is how men genuinely felt. But what we didn't see was the danger that came with media while we were trying to earn a keep. The media that was being pumped in our homes 24/7 while we're out working or trying to make a living or a future. We didn't understand the programming that was going on right up under us. A change, a metamorphosis that we could never understand. And not until our current times has men took heed. That's how late we are, folks. It's not until our current time that men began to take heed to the danger of what was getting pumped in the minds of our families in our absence. Now, when I think about this time of year, we all know it's pagan, whatever the case is. I'm going to show you where we're going, right? I'm going to show you where I'm going. But at this time of year, out of all, out of all the months leading up to December, December was the explanation point. This is where we show the people, right, that we care about, that's in our circle, who we've loved all year and couldn't pay attention to based on the hustle, bustle, whatever the case might be. At the end of the year is when everything slows down and we begin to appreciate those we care about. And when Christmas would come around, that's when everything slows down and we show exactly how we feel about that special person. Right? Now, we all know it's pagan, but I'm just giving y'all some insight, because regardless of whether or not, we believe in Christmas, because we don't, everything slows down at this time of year. Whether you don't believe in anything at all, there's not much to do, cold outside, and now we're forced to deal with the reality of our lives. Well, back then, the reality was everything, because we had something to celebrate when the world slowed down. And in the midst of that, commercials like this would come on, right? Commercials like this would come on, right? Now, we all know that these commercials are, material. But stuff like this comes on, right? In the midst of you feeling a certain type of way about those you love or that special someone. And then in the midst of that, you're sitting down, TV's on, children are playing or whatever the case is, right? And something like this comes on in the midst of it. Now, when you notice, just a sidebar, you notice when they trying to sell their products, they go back to traditional values, right? They know we don't want to see that other stuff they have out there that they plaster in front of us the rest of the year, forcing us to deal with a lifestyle that, no one accepts, even the people who practices it, right? But something like this would come on in the midst of it. Tell me, do y'all remember this, right? Y'all see, y'all know what I'm talking about. Osley Brothers, the music comes on, right? And you're thinking about that gift or whatever you purchased to, to give that special someone, right? That's for peremptories now, but I digress, right? Now, right up under us, without us recognizing, our families were getting inundated in our absence with Oprah, The View, right? I Can Bring Home the Bacon, Fry It Up in a Pan. All this other stuff. Then there was movies, Fatal Attraction, and all these other movies that would bring a wedge in between family. Eddie Murphy, There's Nothing Going On But the Rent. And all this, you got to have a job. Brothers thought nothing of it. You know why? Because we always understood women had their place and men had their place, which means we know women get together and talk about whatever they want to talk about. That's why their conversations are separate from men. But at the end of the day, women back then understood, regardless of what they were saying amongst the women, they understood the value of keeping their families together. They understood that value. Even though they let off steam, they'll say their concerns in the kitchen with the other women. He ain't acting right, whatever the case is. No matter what it was, they would talk it out, and then they would go back to understanding the long-term mission for family. Right? How Stella got her groove back and all these folks. We didn't even know the dangers of these programmings. Men in general didn't know up until our current time how dangerous that was. And here we are. Where are we? I have some white papers I'm going to go into. I have some white papers that I downloaded. I'm going to go into, of course, it's going to be in my discussion, men and women, and we're going to have that in the academy, right? And we're going to have that on Zoom initially. Before we go into Adam and Eve, we're going to have a discussion. We have to do this week 7 of the academy, okay? But I'm going to share some of those white papers today. Because by the time week 7 in the academy comes around, right? This time period, this space we're in, where the music is playing and people who have relationships are now taking full advantage of that time off to share with the person they love. Well, guess what? That time is not going to be in week 7. This time will pass already. So right now is when we need to feel what this topic is all about. Because none like the men and women who can appreciate having family when all things slow down. There's a lot of people who are in a state of depression because there's no social getaway that can actually allow them to get away like it is in the summer or the spring, and they have to deal with the realities of what's going on right there, right now within their 4 walls. That with all the commercials, with all the music playing, with all that going on, there's no one there. And folks, all of it is by design. It's all by design. Fair use. Fair use. Check this out. Oh, yeah. I have to say it. We're going into who is Edom, the man behind all this chaos that are going on, who's up in those synagogues and all that. I'm going to be discussing that this coming Sunday in the academy. Who's Edom? All right. historytimes.org. Let me put it out there. There's nothing like it in the world. Hebrew and Bible Academy. We have many pastors, everything in there. There's nothing like the academy anywhere. It doesn't matter your level of education. It doesn't matter whether or not you studied the Bible. You come through and you'll understand the Bible like you've never thought you could. Okay? Fair use. Fair use. A lonely future for Amerika.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about the rise of single women. So I've done a lot of videos on my channel, or a handful of videos on my channel, about the rise of lonely single men, because it's something that's been covered by the media extensively, no surprise there. So 45% of women are expected to be single and childless by 2030, which is wild when you think about it. That's almost half of women. So I started doing research for this, and before I get into kind of the meat and potatoes of the video, I want to point out something that I thought was kind of funny.
Now, I don't care how dialed up she gets and how nonchalant she tries to be with conveying this damned information. You can't gloss over that. That by the year 2030, all women, listen, half of women, and these are the calculations they have now, but I believe it's going to tilt even further beyond 50%. Half of women between the ages of 22 and 45 will be unmarried and childless. Now, she didn't say between the ages of 22 and 45. You know, I do the research because why? We've been talking about a lot of this since 2009 Path to the Mark. They had Agenda 2021. Well, we just came out of that. And as a result of that and the social engineering of what happened in 2020, they can almost predict down to the I'm going to tell you, they can predict down to the lowest percentage how many women or what's going to go on with family by Agenda 2030. Because it's all within their social engineering based on those who followed what they rolled out in 2020 and the numbers they have concerning that. They can predict how many people, women, will not be able to have children. But I digress. You can't gloss over this. Doesn't matter how dialed up you get and how nonchalant you put it. That's some serious stuff she just brought forth. This is not a black woman thing, folks. 45% or more of women 22 years of age, between 22 and 45, will be childless and single. I'm going to play a little bit more of this, but why did I play that song that I played earlier, To Be in Love? That's how we felt decades ago, folks. The men today and going forward don't feel like that. They don't feel like that. For whatever reason, doesn't matter who's to blame, what side it is. The reality is prophetic. Now, hey, you can say from a man can go online and get his quick satisfaction through those sinful apps and go back with his life. Right? One moment. Keep in mind, having that one person, a man, finally getting with that person that many people, many men out there desired, but she chose to be with you. A man understood that value, right? Back then they understood that value, and they knew that they would have to work. And the satisfaction and love that comes with being with that woman was just a byproduct of having a woman. So that was the caveat in a relationship, because part of that relationship was that's where a man found his peace and satisfaction. But now men have apps. Not that they don't desire a relationship. The relationships that men desire, that's right, this world have created the contrary. Not that we cannot find those types of women, but they pale in comparison to the options that are out. It's like a needle in a haystack. Now, I'm going to let y'all hear this real quick. Hit the like button. I put a lot of time in putting this together. Help me out. Okay. I have white papers. I have from their universities, Duke University. Okay. I have the original article. I have the original article that this woman is glossing over. I put a lot of work into this today, brothers and sisters. I need y'all to hit the like button for me. to have this discussion. And I need you brothers to call in. I want to talk today. I want to talk with you. Fair use. Okay? We put this right here so y'all can understand that I'm not monetized. They don't allow YouTube to monetize our page. That's why all the financial support that you give is appreciated. Even though we follow the rules, that's right. They don't allow us to monetize after being on the YouTube before it was YouTube. Regular content makers making this company what it's become. But we get over 100,000 views and can't even monetize. Right? But it's okay. Our people support it. Right? So I put a lot of work into this, so I need y'all to help me out. All right? Fair use.
So I come across this article on Psychology Today called The Rise of Empowered Single Women. And it's a response article to the article about lonely single men. And I just pulled up both of those headlines, both of those, article titles, and I put them next to each other.
Now, why is this title unfair? The way this woman is explaining it, she's making you think that the emotions are equal on either side. Lonely single men. Ask any man out there that's single whether or not he's lonely. He'll tell you no. Talk to these young people. They're together with their friends. They play games. They're out there together. They shooting ball together. They do it. They go to pool. And guess what? In a sinful world, they find the satisfaction on the apps and then go back to their life. They're not feeling depressed at all. But she's trying to make it seem like it's equal emotion right here.
Other, and I just sat back and I looked at him for a minute. And I'm like, wow, it's kind of crazy.
The rise of empowered single women. The rise of lonely single men. Now, there are men who want traditional values in women. But the men who has the fortitude and the finances, who have their stuff together, they see that the options aren't there in their current areas, right? And a lot of them are getting passports and taking their options to other countries where the values are still in place. Where they can find a woman who's traditional. Now, whether or not we agree or disagree with that, this is where we are. Right? And the rest who aren't getting their passports, I told everybody to get their passports because it's going to be time to travel anyway. Right? But the ones who don't have the wherewithal and the finances to go find a traditional woman somewhere else will be those that women would have to choose from. And these are the men who really doesn't care. Now, folks, everything I'm dropping is biblical. I'm going to show you. It's biblical.
Crazy that anytime in our society where, a man is single, it's automatically assumed that he's lonely, the rise of lonely single men. It's always men do better, men do this. I did a whole video reacting to that article. If you didn't watch that, be sure to go watch it so you guys can kind of see what I thought about it, because I don't think it's all men's fault, just to long story short here. But then anytime a woman is single nowadays, it's always the opposite. So it's the rise of empowered single women. It's always positioned more as a choice for women of like, oh, they're empowered, they're single, they're choosing to be that way because they're empowered.
Sisters, I'm speaking to sisters now. You want to know the problem here? I want you to look at this woman. I need you to look at this woman and examine the danger of this woman. She's trying to convince all women that it's not a big deal. Even though the numbers bear out that the majority of women would not be with men, and that means no protection. The danger with this woman is when it all breaks down, she's going to be protected. She don't care about the numbers because she's going to have a husband when the hell hits the fan. And that's the danger of listening to these women speaking in the spirit of psychology and all soft, convincing you that you shouldn't be concerned with what's coming down the pipeline. This woman is dangerous. She's going to try to speak in a way to have you believe it's okay if there's no one to choose from down the line. Knowing that society has been cultivated to protect women like this. This is the last woman that should be speaking for women. She can speak about it because why? She'll be in that small percentage with a husband who has a dog and guns and a whole militia behind him, a police department. So she don't have nothing to worry about in 2030, and she knows it. But we'll have our sisters listening to this woman and believe that it's even. This is how they've lured our people out to be destroyed, folks. This is a dangerous woman. Because what she's saying doesn't apply to her. Now, there's a video that went viral, which actually really urged me to talk about this evening, where a sister was in a supermarket like Kroger's or something, and she was stealing food for her baby, her son. And she said, listen, my son need food. If I gotta steal for him to eat, I'll steal. This woman can't relate to that. And I'm using today white women in particular. Why? Because folks, these are the women they utilize to harm the future of our families. From the feminist movement, like I went over last Saturday, when women weren't smoking and they got these women, these lesbians, and they went to the brothels and dressed women up like classy women and paid them for a campaign to march down in New York holding cigarettes, calling them what? Torches of freedom, so that the cigarette companies can get women to buy cigarettes. 50% of the market was non-existent. They got women, white women, to do this, and now all women began to smoke cigarettes, and now our women smokes them, only to sell cigarettes, using brothel women that they paid out of brothels, dressed them up like classy women and called cigarettes what? Yeah, torch for freedom. Gloria Steinem, a Jewish liberal, they call her the mother of feminism, stood with black women talking about black power, woman power, when our women were always beside our men. We didn't have no dog in that fight. Sisters don't have a dog in the fight with white women. Now I'm going to show y'all some of the white papers I'm going to talk about before I go into the Bible. Study predicts 45% of women will be single by 2030. Yep, you read that right. Let me move the logo for a second so you can all see this. Fair use. It is estimated that 45% of women aged 25 to 44. Folks, how can they be that accurate? How could they be that accurate? Between 25 and 44 is the bulk. Really, between 18 and 25 is women prime years to lock down the best man she can. Because she's at the peak of her fertility and beauty. It doesn't matter what they talk about here. Those are the women who can usually, if they choose right or have a father who can choose for them, can get the maximum out of who they are as women when it comes to a valued man who can appreciate her fertility and beauty. But they're telling you through feminism that a woman in her peak years of being able to be happy in her golden years will be taken away. Ages 25-44 will be single by 2030, according to a study by Morgan Stanley. With the modern dating market, nearly half of women in their childbearing years will be without a male counterpart. There are a few reasons for this prediction. One, women aren't getting married young anymore. We have so many other options for what to do with our lives that getting married is no longer the default option. Now, notice, getting married is not a default option for us. But the only marriage that's really celebrated in America now is gay marriage. They're urging gays to get married to each other, lesbians to marry lesbians, homosexuals to marry homosexuals. They're pushing it. Biden just signed a marriage equality bill. But you would think that the government, understanding the damning consequences of us not coming together for the sake of saving the country, that they would be more so pushing marriage between straight men and women. So it's not as if they don't care about marriage. But if you're living in a world in which the elite powers are claiming is overpopulated, you will promote the LGBTQ because a woman and woman cannot have children. So those are the marriages you'll promote. And you'll create a toxic environment to keep man and woman from understanding how important they are to one another. Getting married no longer the default option. As if marriage was an option. Folks, marriage was a necessity at one point. There was one point women and men felt shame. Felt shame if no one wanted them or if no one wanted to marry them. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, what's wrong with me that I see what love is, and I see other couples holding hands and enjoying themselves, right? Bringing forth family. I remember those album books we used to open up. And with those album books, we seen those old black and white pictures they used to use, poof. I see my grandmother, grandfather in the album book would be passed down from them to us, and we putting our Polaroid pictures in the album book. So when I was growing up, I wanted to know what it's like, right? Like the song states. I wanted to know what that experience was. But now it's only an option, but it's not an option for gay people. It's imperative that the government push marriage for them, but yet dissuade us from doing so by calling this and downplaying it as an option. We're focusing on our careers, she says. We're focusing on our careers. We're going to grad school. We're getting our education. And guess what? We're traveling. Now, can careers, grad school, traveling, can that replace the love that comes with marriage and the companionship that comes with marriage? Well, they would have you believe so. We have our friends. Now, what they're not telling you is that their friends are lonely also. It was this girl named Lauren, this Fox analyst, white woman. She looked almost like this woman here. Blonde hair and everything. Came out and said she don't understand. All of her friends are educated. All of her friends got it going on. They're making their own money. But when they go to these big places where the men they want are, these women are looked over and walked by men they respect and would be willing to give up everything to be with. And these are white women stating this. It was a sports analyst who looks like her. A sports analyst from Fox. And she says, I don't understand. We're beautiful. We look good. What she didn't understand is the things that she've acquired, the men she wants don't care about. Okay? Those men only care about the time she wasted not understanding how to be a wife. Okay? You can't roll out a man's resume to a man of means, and because he's not interested in your so-called worldly achievements. That doesn't translate to what he expects for family. And you can tell she was totally confused. And this was a white woman. We got it going together. That only impress your little circle of friends who are single with you. That's what she didn't understand. The men she want would very well go find an uneducated girl somewhere in another country who just learned how to cook by her mother, learn how to sew by her mother, and understand the value of nurturing his children. Because why? He can always give us some online classes if she wanted to be educated. Anyone can get a degree at this point. Brothers and sisters, she couldn't for the life of her understand why men were walking right by her. These other women, these white women who blind hair and everything. They don't understand the destructive programming that came in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they started to believe what the media was pumping in their brains. They started to believe that men would accept a different brand of woman. No. Let's finish the article. Our friends and extended social circles and taking our time to find the right guy. 2, we aren't having babies like we used to. Is that something to celebrate? With more options for birth control than ever before and somewhat reliable treatments for infertility. So we'll waste the better part of our lives in hope Science will replace a man down the line when I'm older with less options. And with the pressure gone, so is the urgency to get married for the sake of starting a family. You see how family is just a thing. It's just an option, not a necessity. But it's everything to the LGBTQ. That's her explanation. So many women are single. That is unmarried and will remain this way for the foreseeable future. For the what? For the foreseeable future, folks. This is data that cannot be ignored. We are told that to be a single woman is to be empowered. If I had a penny for every time I've heard, she's a strong, independent woman who don't need a man. See, what they didn't bank on, folks, was men actually hearing this and eventually believing this. You can't keep saying this over and over again and not think that men, for the sake of their own pride and self-preservation, isn't going to say, you know what? I'm going to start believing what they're telling me. The last thing a man don't want is to not be needed. She can take care of everything herself. She makes her own money, drives her own car, and pays her own rent. You know, basic things that any functioning adult should be able to do, but I digress. Right? Now there's more and more. And they're trying to compare this to single men. And they can't do so. It's different. Especially when it's this time of year. Right? When everything slows down and now you're dealing with the reality of your choices. Now, there was a woman by the name of Lauren. Hold on. By the name of Lauren Belant. Duke University, right? Let's see if we can get a picture of this woman. Here she is. Author. Folks, she got booed at a symposium. For stating if women, and she was speaking to a room filled with white women. If we don't slow up feminism, right? If we don't stop feminism immediately, there'll be no men to protect us by 2030, and the country is doomed. She made this statement. I have the white papers here. I downloaded it. Let me tell you. Our Hebrew Bible Academy, I've registered as a small university where I can now download university white papers now. There's no accreditation with it, but I'm able to sign in and get all types of white papers from universities that a lot of you don't even understand how they're social engineering us into extinction. But I read these white papers. I get up 4 a.m. and I'll be sitting there reading this stuff because I understand its prophetic value. How are we going to get to where Babylon is no more? But we must do what? We must chart this from one step down to the next. So she said, listen, all this independent stuff, all of your degrees, do you know what's about to happen? If we don't get this together as white women by 2030, we are done. Now, if a white woman is saying this, I'm going to read some of it. What do you think going to happen to our sisters? Because you have to think about it. Even if men are lonely, they have friends. That's a small army if they have constitutional protection. If they have firearm, they'll be able to protect themselves to some degree when it all breaks out. They call her the female complaint. Right? She got booed at a symposium. Let me break it down here. Right? And she wrote a segment on the awful truth about women's liberation. Because it had little to do with the relationships of man and women than what type of children would get produced without a nuclear family. If man and women don't get this together, especially not fearing God anymore with any traditions, the children will be weaponized against society, and society will topple in on itself. It would have nothing to do with the man or woman and everything to do with the children who no longer cares. I'm gonna get a little. She was booed trying to save white women. And she was talking about even white men with means are traveling to other countries. They've been doing this for decades. It wasn't until our current time brothers have caught on, and now you got passport brothers and others realizing that there's no turning the ship back. That women liberation has helped sink the ship, and chivalry has been dead. It's gone. It was dead, resurrected, and killed again. Let me read a little bit of this. White papers. I got this, but this is for the Academy. It's 24 pages, but there's a few things I wanted to highlight on this. Imagine my dismay when I was virtually booed off the stage by a feminist audience of the lesbian separatist variety for reading a series of poems that celebrated pregnancy and birth. She was just reading a poem that celebrated pregnancy and birth. And lesbian separatists booed her off the stage while affirming a woman's strength and power. The poem in no way idolized pregnancy, but you couldn't prove it by any audience of women in rebellion against 50s notions of happy motherhood. To say anything positive about motherhood was to push everyone of their emotion buttons. I left the stage devastated and confused. The experience plunged me into one of the deepest depressions of my life, and did, by the way, and my career was as a nursing mother. Let me tell you, folks, they attacked this woman's career, her right to earn, only because she was trying to stand for motherhood and getting the woman back in the mindsets of the responsibility that comes with nurturing and bringing up the children before it's too late. So no one can say that people didn't try to stop this. It have gone too far to fix. So what does this mean now? What does this mean? Well, this is what it means. In the wake of all that, Mexico has released nearly 2,700 prisoners early as overall jail population grows. This is what this woman was warning. That with the illegal immigration and all that's out there, and there's other white papers she have, that these are the people that America is going to release in the inner cities. Now, if you're one of the few without the fortune of having some protection, these are the men you're going to have to fend against. And if you think that something with the borders being open throughout the United States right now, think about how many immigrants will be in the inner city by 2030. And they're coming with family. And listen, you got the East Indians who have values, the other nations that have values to replace the family values. And on top of that, you got the criminals coming. That's going the element that's coming also. How is America getting social engineered to fall? On January 1st, 2023, Illinois' jail will turn many prisoners loose. This is not just Illinois. Every major city in the United States, they're releasing prisoners. Now, what happens if laws become lax where criminals can do heinous things and get away with it? Who will protect the women who claimed they didn't need a man? It's coming. This is nothing personal. It has nothing to do with man, woman, we can't get along, who cheated, who's doing this and who doing that. Regardless of the circumstance of how we got here, this is where we are. Where are we? I'm going to show you where we are. America is ripe for the taking. This is where we are. Matthew, listen to this clearly. Listen to this clearly. Matthew 24 and 12. Matthew 24 and 12. Hold on. Okay, 1 second. You know, every year around this so-called Christmas thing, you have the firemen driving around, waving or whatever the case is. But I'll deal with the Christmas thing this Sabbath. All right. Matthew 24 and 12. One moment. Okay. Matthew 24 and 12. This is where we are. Yeah, they got the dog riled up and everything, right? Matthew 24 and 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Let me repeat that. Because sin shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Matthew 24 is telling us that there will come a time where the love, chivalry, the care for someone till death do us part would no longer exist in society. Think about that. Where you can develop something and just throw it away, believing that you can get it back later. See, our mothers, our grandmothers, our fathers, our grandfathers knew better. You kids can't build a new life as if that other life never existed. That's why the Bible states, the love of many shall wax cold. That's what it is. We're living in a prophetic time where men today, and it's, I'm sure there's men who want love and all that, but men today out there will very well, through sin, get their satisfaction from an app and go on with their lives. Whether people believe it's right or wrong or whatever the case is, of course it's sin. But those are the only options they think they have. Okay? So they get their satisfaction, they go about their life. But through the wake of that, many people are getting broken. They did a study to show that what's going on is that the 80% of the women are all online going after the same 20% of men. So the top 10, 20% are getting access to 100% of women who think they have an opportunity because online they have men hollering at them that they would never get the opportunity to be with in the real world. But in their mind, they're thinking that this is what they qualify for. Only to be used. Because the man, has a cold bed tonight and he's scrolling. He's saying, well, okay, I got all these options because all 80% of the women out here want me. So I don't have to commit to none of them. So then you get 80% of men saying, I see these women who are on my level who just walk right by as if I don't qualify. So you know what? I'm out of the game altogether. And here we are. Here we are. A lonely future for America. But when the hell break loose, it's what I said months ago from Isaiah, the 3rd and 4th chapter. Let me read it and then we'll open up the lines. See, I love the Bible because the Bible covers everything. Every social aspect the Bible covers. And the reality is, we have a choice. Because there's many families there's still people in place, which is really a small cluster who understand the value of God, Christ, and family, who through that core belief is the remnant who'll make it through the chaos. Isaiah 3 and 4, let me read it. Isaiah 3, let me cut this down some. I think I'm a little too loud. Yeah, that's perfect. Isaiah 3 and 4, let me read it here. Right? 1 second. Isaiah 3. Hold on, let me turn this up so I can hear. Yeah. Isaiah 3 and 4, let me read it here. Isaiah 3. Here we are. You want to know where we are prophetically? Before 2030 or around that time, that's when hell's going to hit the fan. And between that time, we're going to have about, right before that, we're going to have about 2.5 years to be in the right geography. Hopefully we can work, and the Most High is working where we can already begin to parlay our way out of what's coming here and in the death that's coming to the other Western world countries, which brings in the New World Order. A lot of brothers now are getting their passports, calling themselves passport bros, to seek viable options on the outside of the Western world, believing that there's too much delusion amongst the candidates whom they would deem wives. Brothers no longer feel they're stuck with something they don't want to fight with anymore, right? I believe there's a blessing in that has nothing to do with while they're getting a passport. For years, we told brothers, get your passports. Because eventually you're going to need the greatest form of identification to seek refuge when it's time. So regardless of the circumstances, I'm happy the brothers are kicking in and getting passports. Our women in the inner city was getting passports to go to Jamaica and all that stuff since Stella Had Her Groove Back was out. Okay? And I'm going to leave that right there. So the best thing about this is brothers are catching up for whatever reason and are now getting passports and doing what? Exploring the world. Much wisdom comes through travel. And eventually, by going other places, when you come back to the country, you'll realize how dysfunctional and confused our environments were and begin to fix what we can before it all falls. Right? All right, let's get Isaiah 3 real quick. Let me go. And then we'll open up the lines. Isaiah 3. This is where we're going now. For behold, the Lord of hosts, do take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. The mighty men and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable man and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. And the people shall be oppressed, and every one by another, and every one by its neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. That's where we are right now. Where the youth, because they don't understand, they have never witnessed what a traditional loving family looks like, the child behave themselves proudly against they have no respect for the aged adults anymore. Why? Because they don't have anything or anything to really draw from to understand that value. They don't even know what a grandfather looks like, let alone, sponged any level of wisdom from a man. And all this so that everyone can be independent and now do what I want to do, or just long as my life is good, regardless. No, it was about having some level of mentorship in place. And the based against the honorable. When a man shall take hold of his brother, of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler. And let this ruin be under thy hand. So what's coming is so bad, brothers and sisters. You're going to have men going to other men of means saying, I'll work for you. I'll work for you. Do you have clothing? Do you have shelter? Men are going to be coming to other people with means for protection. That's how hard it's going to get on our people. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be a healer, for in mine house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. So you're going to have men turning other men away, stating, I really only have enough for my people. It's going to be a famine where men are going to have to turn other men away who's willing to work and say, well, listen, brother, all due respect, we told you to prepare a long time ago. We only have enough for the people in-house. 8. For Jerusalem is ruined. Jerusalem is speaking about our people, folks. And Judah is fallen, because their tongue, their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. The show of their countenance do witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. The Most High is going to allow hell to come on our community because we've become the poster boy for Sodom and Gomorrah. They hide it not. That means our men are flamboyantly celebrating sodomite behavior, and don't even realize the shame that comes with it. The Most High says it's not that you're just doing it. You won't even hide it. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him. So that to those who want to do right, the Most High says, tell them it's going to be okay for them. Because they have an inclination to understand the times we're living in prophetically. For they shall eat the fruits of their doings. Those who understand that we're at the end are preparing. And through that preparation, we'll be able to eat at the end of this. Woe unto the wicked, though. It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors. That's right, folks. You got young children carrying guns in the neighborhood, threatening that adults, grown men are afraid of. And what? And women rule over them. Women live. See? But a man who understands his worth and understand his role according to the Bible could never have a child or a child scare them or a woman rule over them. Oh, my people. Oh, my people. This is what God is saying. Oh, my people. They which lead thee cause thee to err. Your preachers have become panderers. They're only saying what they want you to hear. They're only saying what they know you want to hear. And destroy the way of thy paths. Like the preacher we showed you last week, who instead of growing food on his land, claiming that new birth, whoever they are, knew Satan's birth, all the land they have, they're not going to grow food for the homeless. They want to grow marijuana to continually delude and destroy our communities. That's your pastors. The Lord standeth up to plead and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter into his judgment with the ancients of his people and the princes, for you have eaten up the vineyard, the spoil of the poor is in your houses. So it goes into the fall of man. And then in the 4th chapter, hold up, check this out. Then it goes into the women. Moreover, the Lord, because of the daughters of Zion, are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. That means you're walking as if you're better than the men. I got this and I got that. I'm boss. I got, listen, no, you got what a functional adult is supposed to have. But God is saying, because you think you're better than the men, walking and mincing as they go. When they say mincing, walking and switching, right? And making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. And the Lord will discover your secret places. He says, you know what? Because you're too proud, I'll take your hair. Because the Bible states it's a shame for a woman to be bald. I'll take your hair. The hair is your beauty. The hair is your covering. He did it so that the woman can humble herself, fast and pray, and eventually shave her head and mourn by ripping her clothes in sackcloth to do what? To grow her hair back as she strengthens in beauty. She's strengthened in the spirit of God, or a virtuous woman, so that she can say, look, I'm willing to take it all off and grow it and cherish my crown. She would do that in the spirit of humility and grow her hair out in appreciation for the Most High forgiving her. But instead of doing that, instead of ripping her cloth and knowing that she's wrong, like, no, I'll just cover it and walk and mince and become more proud, more haughty. I'll just cover my hair with others' hair. Instead of dealing with the realization, what? Of the judgment God has placed upon me. Why did God give all these other women certain types of hair and I got to struggle with my hair? It's because of what's in me. It's because I don't want to be right with my man. I don't want to be right with men. So the Most High says, you know what? I'm going to confiscate that until you respect the man I pulled you out of. When you begin to honor him, your glory will come back. Your hair will come back because you'll begin to love yourself inside out. And it'll show with your crown. "18. In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of your tinkling ornaments about your feet, and their cause and their round tires like moon." Talking about the big earrings we used to wear coming up. Y'all remember those 80 and 90 earrings, those big moon earrings? That's how you know it's talking about us. The Most High says he's going to take those big moon earrings away. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and the nose jewels. And every man know when they see women with nose jewels, they know in this world right now, that's a telltale signal with those nose jewels. A man knows what he's getting with a woman like that. And that woman isn't a wife. And I'm saying that lightly. I'm saying that with as much tact as I can. It's like that's signaling. If a woman has a tongue ring, that's triple, that's quadruple signaling. The changeable suits of apparel, the mantles, the wimples, and the crispin pins, the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. It shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. Right? I don't even got to go there. This is what happens eventually when stuff starts breaking down and you don't have access to hygienical cleansing like you once did. And instead of a girdle, because a woman used to have what? An hourglass shape. She had nothing to do with keeping that shape. A child couldn't take that shape away. Instead of a girdle, a rent. The Most High said what? You know what he did? He said, you're too proud. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go inside you and I'm going to rent the girdle I put in, the natural girdle I had for all women. It was a time where a woman would keep her shape regardless of children. And the Most High ripped it. Okay? I'm taking your shape away. Okay? Because you're using your natural beauty and have weaponized it against the men I've taken you out of. You've allowed Satan to convince women who came out of man that they're better than the men they came out of. So the Most High said, you use your beauty now. You're weaponizing your beauty instead of appreciating the man you came out of. And you're making it believe that your beauty is for everyone out there when it should be for one man. I'm almost ended. And instead of well set here, baldness. So no preacher out there anywhere can go into why these Asian shops have become a multi-billion-dollar company or multi-billion-dollar businesses within the black communities. This was in the Bible before the Asian shops had hair. So the Asians and other people who aren't suffering that curse in particular know that curse exists, and that's a curse from the Bible. That because you're proud and don't want to humble yourself for self-preservation, even for your own existence, I'm taking you here. This is what God did. You can't blame man for this. And you can't blame man for pointing it out. And this is not an attack on women, because why? There's many women who has the right spirit and the virtuous spirit, and it shows on their crown. They're not cursed. Their hair grows. Okay? Because they care for their hair. They oil their hair. They're clean on the inside and it shows on the outside. Instead of well set hair, baldness. Who knew that was in the Bible? And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth and burning instead of beauty. So instead of the natural beauty, that's right, you'll feel a need for makeup. And you'll feel makeup is beauty and natural is ugly. When natural is beauty to a man. So that the Bible tell you what really happens. What happens? You'll make up yourself to a degree that you'll begin to believe, well, no, that's a plain Jane. That's ugly. No, that's natural. That's you. Plain Jane is the beautiful one. And plain Jane will be the one with a husband when it all breaks down. Because when you dial yourself up and make yourself into another person, you raise what? You raise the position of that person. And with that, expectation that comes with the made up person. You up the expectations for a man now that you would normally see as your equal if you weren't made up. Which is what? Drying up the pool or options of men for you. Not that men don't appreciate ever so often dialing up for special occasions or whatever the case is, because we grew up and had women who had makeup and all that, but you could still make out the symmetry in how they looked. And it comes a time that this thing is getting so bad that now men can dress up and hide themselves amongst women. Instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth and burning instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword. So there's a war coming. Because the young men that are being raised in this communities who are being weaponized, eventually the UN armies are going to have to come in. And a war will ensue against the gangs, folks. And thy mighty men of war, and her gate shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. And only when that happens will men and women get humbled. Only until everything that this happens and the war breaks out, then we'll be dealing with the reality of life at that point. What life? And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. We have sinned. Only until all of that happens and a war break out will women and men begin to understand and discuss each other, discuss areas of where we can agree for the self-preservation. Only then, folks. In that day, when it says 7 women should take hold of one man, it's the same as the men that was going to other men in Isaiah the 3rd chapter for refuge. It's going to be hell out here. And based on everything we're seeing here, the projection for the hell to break out will be a little after, that's right, 2030. Now, I have a Coptic calendar to know exactly, or within the times that we have, which is the consummation. And folks, we are close. So the earth is being social engineered this way for a purpose, to stomp out any existence of Israelites going forward. That's what the New World Order is about, to stop the awakening. And it's about time we stop fighting one another and understand the value of family, get in where we fit in, and sisters, what we have to do is what they call settle. They try to make it a bad thing if you get with someone on your level. They have named that settling now. That's not settling. That's you getting a future protector before the hell breaks out. How much we got in here right now? We got 2,500 in here. This is very nice. We got right here. We very nice. All right, very nice. I like where we're going. 515-605-9327. Let me talk about the Academy. Who is Eenzame is coming up this Sunday. You don't want to miss it. And even if you missed the first 3 lessons, we're going to package that for you with all the news. You're not going to miss anything. Get in this Academy, folks. Okay, week 7, men and women at odds will be the lesson. You want to be in there because we're going to have an open discussion through Zoom that day. Roundtable discussion, week 7 of the Academy. All around the world, you can chime in, men, women. We're going to talk freely, no judgment, no coming against each other. We can speak freely, even if someone feel their feelings are going to be hurt. You'd rather deal with that discussion and get over that for the sake of healing than staying complacent before the armies come. Roundtable discussion, week 7. Never happened in the Academy before. Roundtable discussion. And what we're going to do, we're going to take those clips and what we can put online, because, there's censorship all over the place. We're going to take these clips and put it on some for Patreon, some for YouTube, because y'all need to hear this discussion. Also, it's coming up after January. I'm going to set up the church's stage. like a little backdrop studio, similar to Jesse Peterson, what he has there. And we're going to be sitting down and we're going to have guests. And we're going to be dealing with all that, guest discussions for the Academy and for the podcast in the future. Special guests will be sitting and dialoguing with the small time we have. So there's much in store coming this year for the Hebrew and Bible Academy as well as the church. Okay? So, hey, folks, y'all know it's nothing like that Academy. The first time we're going to be able to have an open discussion all over the world. So, hey, historytimes.org. Now, I'm going to need y'all to chime in. We're going to open up the lines. We're going to open up the lines, 515-605-9327. I need y'all to come in. And, brothers, I want to hear what y'all have to say about a lonely future for America. Okay? Give me some insight of what you see out there in the world when it comes to relationships and what you've been witnessing out there. And be candid. And sisters, I need you to do the same because, hey, we're going to hear the brothers, hear the sisters. We're going to try to get as many brothers. We're going to have an open discussion as much as we can tonight. Nothing like the visuals we'll have week 7 in the Academy, but, I mean, we'll start the discussion here and we'll pick it up because why? Usually this time of year, brothers and sisters who are alone begin to reflect and understand the loneliness that comes this time of year. Usually when it's spring, you can go out and it become a distraction. We can get the attention if you put on the right things and all that. But reality hit when what? When winter comes. The reality of your life, choices usually come into full view when you have to sit back now with no distractions. Nothing that could misdirect your thoughts. And now you're dealing with the reality of choices. And the reality is, life isn't the same without someone to call my own. Okay? To be in love. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter. School cannot replace that. Money cannot replace that. To have someone to call your own is a blessing. Right? And what we have done, we've taken blessings from ourselves. Following what? Following a social experiment that was set up by the LGBTQ before they was that. And the evildoers to make us believe that there was a problem amongst family, amongst men and women. And now they have us exactly where they want us. What? Let me go over it again. Let me show you. And this is not just a black problem, folks. Study predicts 45% of women will be single by 2030. Now, there's something else going on with the study they did before this. I don't know if y'all know this. 50% of black men in particular in America are single and childless. Did y'all know that? So it's not as if there isn't any candidates for women to get some protection. The standards that people out there have for themselves won't allow them to understand the value of having a man, a protector. You can't put a value on a protector. 80% of the women are going after 20% of the men. And the top 10% of men are dealing with 100% of the women. But yet 50% of men are just being left out there and people expect them to just sit around. Nah. Men receive the message. They're becoming global now. So eventually, what? Family will fall altogether. America will not make it past the 20 and past the 30s, because family will cease to exist outside of the new definition for family, the LBGT group. They'll tell us that marriage is an option, right? Marriage is just an option for us. But husbands and wives, those titles are reserved for gay people. We're going to talk. 515-605-9327. I'm going straight to the lines now. Hold tight. Let's talk. You're open. The lines are open. I'll be right back in 1 minute. Let's talk. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Okay. Thank you for all your presence. You can see down right here how to support the work right here. $GOCC 144 donate, and that's strictly for the broadcast. The other one right there is for church members, okay? But the top one, if these particular lessons that we give and these discussions have benefited your lives, you can right there, GOCC 144 donate, $ in the front, and that helps support the work. If you don't have Cash App, that's fine. Go to gatheringoftchrist.org, okay? Look under donate. There's many options right there to help support the work. The work wouldn't be possible without your contributions, okay? Now, let's open up the lines, shall we?
Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
Okay. 515.
Unmuted.
515-605-9327. We have Brother Sean with a comment.
Hello?
Shalom, Brother Sean. You're live.
Oh, no, the car. It's good hearing from you.
It's good hearing from you, sir. What you got? What you have for us?
I wanted to let you know this, that the word that you spoke in this lesson was very accurate concerning these women and concerning the men of this generation now and of the past, because it's nowadays, it's like a lot of the women are looking and expecting a pretty boy Floyd guy every time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping when they meet me, a young normal man who's following the truth through the word, through the scripture, and following your lesson, sir. I'm hoping when they meet me and seeing the scars on my face from my past, I hope they don't look at me in an ugly way. And I wanted to ask you, is that going to be a problem with women? Like when they see a man with scars?
Well, brother, you would have to ask a woman, but there's other things you can do to make yourself viable, right? There's things you can do. You can do things like study the word of the Most High, get spiritually inclined, understanding the word, which is good. That's a start. Get your spirit together, but also make sure you get your health together. Get in the gym, work out, take care of your body. All right? And above all, you have to become a provider. Put your head down and make your own keep. Make some finances so that what? A woman would have something to come in to help meet. So it's about building ourselves as men. And that's why the Bible tells us a man who is loose seek not to be bound. And a man that's bound seek not to be loose. Now, if you are lonely and want a woman, what do you have on your hands right now? What's on your hands now? I'll tell you what. Time. So if you're wasting time, listen, if you're wasting that time without a woman, then what can you provide for a woman? Right? So any insecurities you have with your scars. Have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen this? The singer Seal?
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. Let me tell you. Okay, you got all types of stuff. You can't have stuff moving around on a broadcast, brother.
Let me step back.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I met Seal years ago at Wynn Plaza in Philadelphia. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now look at his scarred face. Look at his face. Let me tell you. It was women lined around the corner. White women, black women, every ethnicity you wanted to try to get to that black man. Because why? There was a confidence with him beyond his scarred face. And he didn't allow how he looked to become an insecurity. He built the areas he could. Very gifted man. He got himself in a gym. He worked himself out. He says, listen, I'm not going to let these scars be the end of me. A matter of fact, I'm going to build everything else to the point where these scars would become beauty. You understand? So, brother, there's a confidence that comes with one thing about young men today. There's a lack of confidence. It has nothing to do with your scars. Build the areas you have power to build. And you know what? The women will love your scars. You got it?
Yes, sir.
All right, my brother. Bless you.
Hold up.
Brother Dawada, 210 area code.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom. How are you doing, my brother? Brother Dawada, talk to me.
Yes, sir, man. All praise be to the Most High. I am well. I am definitely well. I'm sitting here at work right now getting drowned out by this Christmas music, so I'm not enjoying that. But nonetheless, Elder, you know, it's the spirit is truly moving, and here's the reason why. You mentioned Jesse Lee Peterson, and the irony of it was that I literally was watching a video by him today and thought to myself, it would be amazing to watch Elder Ricard do a round table discussion the same way that he does these things. And it's crazy because he was actually talking to a brother and a sister who, you know, they're married and they're both pastors. And the woman couldn't understand the concept of the question that he was asking. He said, you know, who is the head of you? Is your husband the head of you? And she kept saying, no, Christ is the head of me. And he was like, you know, that's not scriptural. That's not scriptural. And he kept trying to go back after it. So she understood that the husband first has to let Christ be the head in order for her to fall under him. And so the children could fall under her. And I think the problem is with society is like that people lack that structure they don't understand that, like, if the man is not leading a productive type of life, then he's not going to produce anything that a woman's going to want. And so this guy had these 9 women on his little quick podcast, and out of the 9 women, only one of the women said that she prefers a man that's a marriage with a man making only $40,000 a year, as opposed to a sugar daddy giving the woman $20,000 a month. And so I think a lot of the problem is with society is that everybody's looking for this ideology of, like, what can you give me? What can you give me? And not what I can give you or what we can do together as a union.
That's true.
And so, that's what I think this, like, the social divide is, because these women nowadays have these standards, like, if he can't do for me, I don't want nothing to do with him. And it's like, but if we come together and you and I can build something together, then, like, again, the help meet process, I think is fundamentally important. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy how you mentioned him, and I just thought in my mind, I'm like, man, that would be great to see Elder do something like that. Bring real conversations to the table and get real people to get on there and have real conversations. But I yield. But that was amazing.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. And you brought some very, very, very good points about standards. And there's a thing where people are asking sisters, what do you bring to the table? And really, the question in of itself is stifling women. I remember growing up, you didn't have to ask that question. Listen, I cook, I clean, I sew, I nurture, I believe in God, I love my man, I'm there to help him in his business if his ideas. But it's deep that when you ask them what they bring to the table, they look at it and be like, I'm the table. They don't think they have to bring anything but themselves. And don't you know, if you will age out of your attraction of where you are now. And if you haven't built anything tangible that's needed for family, right? So when you ask people that question, they'll be like, well, what table? I am the table. No, because the reason why they don't want to say what they actually have to offer, because those things that men want, they're taught to be ashamed of that. They can't say, I cook, I clean, I sew, I take care of my man, because they are afraid of being shamed by other women and being called pick me. So even though they know what a man wants, they can't publicly. They've been shamed by the evildoers into stating the perks and why a man should choose her. So, but hey, believe it or not, when things get as far as it has come, the world begins to right itself. And we are in a midst right now of the earth righting itself, right? Because what I found out, and I wrote this down, we've hit a tipping point. And here's the tipping point. It doesn't matter how we got here. Here's the reality. Men no longer care like they used to. Now, a man who understands the value and understand God in Christ, know the importance of a helpmeet and a good woman. But men out there is far and in between in number compared to the few men who still want love. Right now, the majority, men no longer care like that, like they used to. Because why? When we were growing up, men didn't have access to be able to satisfy their flesh with an app. A man had to commit and get to that point. So they've been desensitized. Right. That's number one. Number two, we have to realize what happens when resources dries up. And that's where we're getting to. We're coming into a time of scarcity for what? For necessities. That's what this whole globalization, they're pushing global warming. It's about claiming that the earth isn't producing enough for its people. So what happens when resources dries up? Well, it's each man for himself. And the last thing in particular a woman wants in a time of a famine is a man fending for himself without a man fending for her and the family. Because we're coming into a time of war. And, hey, this is where we are. It doesn't matter how we got here. Great points. Bless you, brother.
Bless you. Shalom.
Okay, Sister Danita has a comment, and then we have Brother McIntosh.
Hey, Shalom, elders. This is Danita from DMV.
Yes.
I just wanted to make a comment about all the points that y'all, even the men that called in and brought out tonight made some good statements.
Yeah.
And looking in, I'm thankful to be married myself. Looking at the single ladies and the single men today, I just noticed the bigger picture about everything, how men and women used to have that love and respect for one another back in the day. Yeah. And, the woman respected the man's opinion, would even ask for it, and really cared about what he felt for her, thought of her. And the idea wasn't just financially. It was just, I just want a man to protect me. I want a man to love me and, treat me right. And I think that's lost in this world now. They look at the money aspect and they look at, do he have a car, which is important, having a roof, having a car, caring for yourself. But the love that a woman had for a man that she talked to, and, the love that the man had for the woman, and respecting and knowing, not necessarily putting it like respecting and knowing your place, but we knew our position as man and woman.
Yeah.
So nowadays, I just feel like that's lost, and everybody's worrying about getting the bag and being in a relationship. Who's going to take? What can you do for me? What can you do for me? Mm-hmm. Instead of thinking, what can I do to care for my man? What can I do to build him, to make him a better husband, a better man for the Most High? And I yield with that.
Well, sister, I'm glad you brought up some of these points. I seen something online, and let me tell you, I'm glad I don't have the TikTok app, because I guess it's much. It could be as addictive as Instagram or whatever the case is. But man, it seems like TikTok is tell all sin directly from the pits of hell.
Yep.
And man, let me tell you, you talking about confessions when men are sitting back saying, "Okay, no, thank you." A sister said something like to the points of, this man had everything. He made about 45,000 a year, but he drove an old car, and I just couldn't do it. And she's bragging and laughing to someone online, shaming this man who doesn't have debt, right? Doesn't have debt with a new car. So she's not looking at it as, she didn't even look into him to see, why does he have a used car? Is he stacking his money?
Right.
Is he stacking his money to be able to buy both of them new cars in the future? But it was all about, she said he had everything going for him, but she just couldn't. She couldn't what? She couldn't she couldn't have her friends see her stepping out of his car. And I shook my head. You know why I shook my head? Because I remember knowing that I had to stack my money, driving a Kia car. A Kia car that I actually purchased from someone that worked at the job.
Wow.
But guess what? The Kia had no car note. I had a plan. And it's deep that someone will look at your current status now, or you can have a woman look at that and say, you know what? I don't care what car he's driving. All these other qualities will allow us to build together, to be in the car, to actually drive the car I want him to have.
Right.
You mean to tell me this man ticked all the boxes, but you had one box? I cannot allow my girlfriends to see me getting out of his car. I had to back off. I said, Lord have mercy on all of us. Go on.
Well, one thing my husband told me when I met him and we were just dating, he said he learned to adore me than just, like me.
No.
So we grew.
No. Listen. Sister. Someone says, what's wrong with a Kia? There's nothing wrong with the Kia.
Nothing wrong with Kia.
I'm not saying anything is wrong with it. But you should have seen this little green Kia I had. And, there was nothing attractive about it, but it got me to work.
Right.
I'm just using this as an example. Based on the standards this woman is talking about, if you're not driving something, she said you got to be driving something at least 2020, 2022.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's like, come on, sister. This brother did a lot to try to, impress you, to show that, he'll be a good man. Don't embarrass him online, because obviously he would see you online shaming him. It's like where's the respect anymore? So
gone.
Thank you, sister. All right, thank you.
Shalom.
Shalom. And brothers hearing this now, and they're saying, well, okay. And it's a shame because good sisters now are going to have to suffer some of the consequences out there where men will no longer approach them. A shame that they're going to be shamed out there like this. Brother McIntosh.
Shalom, Elder. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing well. A great program tonight. I was listening. I'm down here in, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I was listening to the program, and you made so many good points about the protector. He said, around about 2030, around that area, all these different things. And what I have seen down here, as far as the women now, I'm sorry, is when you were talking about the seal thing, and the brother was talking about, if I look a certain way now, I said, there's a lot of women out there, a lot of men out there that have been in wars and stuff. Their bodies all cut up, no arms, and they got some of the most beautiful women in the world. They won't leave them, So I guess it just got something to do, if they love the man or not. But what I was saying was, these immigrants and things that they're loading on these buses, just dropping them off all over the country. Well, they do that a lot here. A lot of Mexican women, a lot of people from, like a lot of, like real Indian women, like Gad, tribal Gad women, mixture or something, and Mexican women. And I've seen those are some of the most beautiful women in the world. You're talking about passport women. Those women are like, they dumping them off on you, and it seems like they coming straight for the brothers, I don't know that is.
Hey, brother, listen, this
yes, sir.
There's this, matter of fact, I'm going to have this brother he's a professor at a college. And I'm going to have him on that roundtable discussion. It's crazy. Okay. Especially with me having a son who's about to graduate college, right?
Yes, sir.
There was a guy, and I'm not going to put his name out because he's going to be on our broadcast. He was dealing with the class strictly for black women, more so. It was it was speaking of relationships and how to cultivate the black family in the community. And he noticed when he started pointing out things that not just the men had to fix, that the women had to fix also. Less of our women, black women, didn't enroll or stopped coming to his class. But then the next semester, it was a line around the corner almost for his classes. Guess who was in his classes? Asian women, Asian women, white women, and so-called Latina women. And then he stopped. He's going to be on one of our broadcasts, and he was just curious to why these women were in a black conversation concerning the community and relationships. His curiosity got to him, and he asked them, "Why are you in this class?" And all of them said, "We are here for the black men."
Yes, sir.
It's like,
I've heard that.
He's going to be on the broadcast. He said, he says they here for the black men. They want to know the things our sisters would know naturally to not turn the black men off. So they're in the class to learn about us, because out of all men on earth, the white man, the black man is the next preferable above all men outside of the white men in the earth. And in certain countries, black men are number one. So that's crazy that this happened at this university where all of these other women are coming in with they're like, if y'all don't want them, we'll take them. Right? So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's a shame. It's a shame.
That's the word on the, as they say, the word on the street. That's the word on the street. They're out in my neighborhood and everywhere. I'm telling you, it's like,
listen, it's a tipping point. And what I'm saying is, it's to a point where men have black men in particular have received the message that black men think that they're not wanted by our women. And so now they've gotten the message, and they're like, well, okay, I'm not going to approach anymore. I'm just wait. And listen, other women are coming in and whatever. If they holler at me, this is what's going on with this young generation now. And it's a shame, because it wasn't like that. I remember when I was growing up, brother, it was about the butterflies and, you know what I mean? I hope, can I stand a chance? Right? and the happiness that came with when she said, I've been watching you for a while. I didn't know that you liked me. Just all the young love, the purity that came with finding out about a person. It's lost now. It's lost. It's a shame. I mean, brother, listen, one thing about these time of year, right? I didn't understand coming up, Christmas was pagan, right? But I can I can always remember this time of year. After my mother and father have done everything trying to play Santa Claus, them sleep downstairs while we were enjoying our toys, right? And then at night, when the family come over, my mother would get back up to cook. And in the midst of all that, she would grab my father's hand, and they would have a dance in the middle of the living room where everyone could see. And he would turn her around, and he would grab, and you know what I mean? I'll never forget that sight as a child. It had nothing to do more so with Christmas or whatever. It has everything to do with I would say, being poor. But even being poor, seeing regal in our people, honor and class amongst our community. You couldn't tell me my family was broke or poor. Because why? The pride they had in family, and the fact that what they did with their time to show that they appreciate one another. I'm going to tell you right now, there wasn't a price anyone could put on that. And it's a shame the generations to come won't witness what we witness coming up. It's a shame.
That's right, sir. Gone. It's gone.
Yeah, it's finished. At least we can talk about it. And hope for those who still want love.
Memories.
Yeah, but hope for those who still, the remnant, who still want to know what it's like to be in love. All right? Thank you, my brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Brother Robert has a comment.
Hey, how y'all doing? Shalom.
Shalom, my brother. Bless you.
So yeah, I was just listening in. I know sometimes I come in I get the notifications, and I just wanted to listen in. I'm listening about, the family unit. And, of course, that's the most important unit on the planet. And I was just thinking about everything, how the Most High intended it for it to be from the beginning of the time. We always was, when we was reared up, we was taught that we should wait until marriage for sex. And for the Most High, let it be known that to marry is sex, and to be married is to be joined to another person by seed. So to come back to the original point that God has for us is to understand that we should not just have sex just to be having sex to not bear seed. That is adultery. If we look up in the etymology of the word adultery, it'll tell you that it's between a man, a husband, and a wife to have sex for recreational purposes. So we must understand truly what marriage is, and not in the way of this world. We must rise out of all of the things that Satan has put us in by coming into this matrix of this world. Mm-hmm. So I know that we are coming out of it. And I love all of the teaching that you're doing, because at the end of the day, you're propelling us to wake up and understand all of the truths, not, just some of the things that we're Israelites, but the depths of truth that we must unwind so that we may be truly righteous and may truly have the mind of Christ, to develop bodies that will be as Christ as well.
Exactly.
By living correctly. And I just wanted to come on and say that, again, I thank you for allowing me to come on, and I thank you for everything that you're doing, Elder. And shalom to everybody. God bless.
Shalom, and thank you, and bless you, Brother Rob. Bless you. Sister Sierra.
Shalom, Elder Rakar.
Shalom, Sister Sierra. The floor is yours.
Yes. Per usual, you always have a wonderful, wonderful broadcast. This was amazing. And I just wanted to come in and say, this, it's crazy what happened with our sisters. I was just watching one of these podcasts earlier today, and they had this Colombian sister on there, beautiful, young, submissive. Everyone's in the comments going in on it, and they were talking about the passport men, and and I'm just like, man, it's gotten to a place to where, I'm not. If there's no feminine values and the woman of the Most High's values in the sisters anymore, you know what I'm saying? The brothers got to do what they got to do, and we can't blame them for that. We can't be upset with that.
Yeah.
And I can only share from my experience with my husband today.
Okay.
Being married with him, going on 3 years now, or it is 3 years.
Okay.
But I had those same mentalities. I remember coming in with the baggage from my poor choices in the past, and being that angry woman, or I don't know if I can trust him. I don't know if he's, you know what I'm saying, what he's bringing to the table, and puffing myself up to be this woman that is bringing so much. And I had a child at already, and it's just like, you know what I'm saying, I had to humble myself, Elder. I had to put myself in back to where I belong, back into the lane that I'm actually in, and not this fantasy land that the media and the world has tried to convince us of. And there was a point, Elder, where I'm looking at my husband like, well, we were dating at the time. I'm like, I am not about to lose this man. This is a good man that I have here. Like, whatever I have to do, and Elder, I purged out all of that foolishness. And till this day, my husband reels me back on in like, babe, and it's a beautiful thing, because I came in with that, and it was to a point to where it was crucial, Elder. Like, I imagined some other woman with him, and I was like,
Yeah, I was going to
Nope.
ask you. I was
You
going to
know,
ask you. I was going to ask you, but I think you answered it. What was the tipping point? When did you realize that you were wrong? That even though
oh my,
listen, even though you've experienced bad things or a past that you made a choice with, right? But it couldn't have you overcome the bitterness you would bring into a relationship who didn't deserve
are you going somewhere?
that vitriol.
Oh,
So what I'm asking you is what was the tipping point to let you know I'm wrong? To look at yourself, because that's really tough to have that introspect, to look inward, to say, you know what? I'm wrong. That's hard for people to admit, right? So what was the tipping point to have you look at yourself? You seen yourself losing him?
I saw myself losing him, Elder. I would break up with him all the time. And it was what I used to do as my so-called defense mechanism younger, in the days of me dating around. It's the minute I saw something that I, didn't agree with or something, I'm like, oh, I'm out. And so I kept doing that. And I remember him, I remember ignoring his calls, Elder. And after a while, I put it into my head, well, he has to keep blowing up this phone, and that's what shows that he loves me, is if he keeps blowing up this phone. But he stopped calling that phone, because I blocked him and didn't answer him.
Good.
And so when he stopped answering that phone, I'm like, hold on. Hold on, I'm going to lose this good man. And then at that point, it made me start reflecting. Elder, there was a lot of things that I was putting on him that he had nothing to do with. It was all the foolishness from the past. And so it was delusional stuff. Oh, you're probably cheating on me, or like the silly stuff that we do. Insecurities within ourselves, things that we're insecure about now. Okay. And so I was putting all those things on him, making it seem like he was the bad guy. And when I reflected and actually looked deep down and said, Sierra, you're the one tripping. You're the one messing up. And if you mess up and this man moves on, you're that movie Acrimony, when they showed Taraji P cutting up because she lost that man. Like that's okay. What I thought of. Like, oh my goodness, you're gonna lose your, if you mess up with this man, you're gonna lose it.
It's ironic you're saying that, because men aren't that way, and I'm gonna say it like this: men overlook a lot. Men overlook a lot of things. When they overlook a lot of things and don't make a lot of things issues, a lot of situations issues, knowing the woman, knowing how much she cares, and it's more so insinuating or highlighting the positive she brings for a man, that a man can overlook a lot of things. Like you're saying, when every little thing that happens, it was an issue for you, and to the point where you started playing games and just breaking up with him. Well, if a man was like that, sister, there would be no relationships. Right?
Ooh.
There would be no relationships. Right. Because men can overlook a lot of things, because they understand as a man, what's more important. We can fix these little things. Everything doesn't have to become a battle. Everything, we shouldn't have to argue or conflict for resolution, to get to a resolution. That's some sick stuff we grew up with. I remember growing up, and it was a girl next door. I'm not going to say her name because she probably looks at the broadcast now. She said, we had women growing up in North Philly where she was saying that unless there's argument or a fight, man, the best love is makeup love. Like, I'm going to start a fight. I'm going to start a fight with a man for no reason because the makeup love is good. This is the stuff that we grew up thinking was normal. I've heard girls on the step say that. I'm going to start a fight because every day that makeup. Only we think that fighting leads to some type of higher level of togetherness. And so getting back to my point, there's we have so much that we had to learn going through this transition, falling as a people. But I believe we're getting to the point of conversations that who knows, that we probably would have never had before, right? So without blaming one another, right? So it's like this. But I'm gonna tell you, sister, and sisters need to know that there's a lot of things brothers overlook, because if that's the case, everything would be an argument. And it's you have to pick your battles. Like, is this situation too important? I mean, is it that important that I don't know where you left the comb? I have my comb right here. Is this a battle? Do we want to die on this hill? Like, I have my, you understand? But I'm going to tell you, that's what happens. When we begin to not appreciate each other, everything becomes a 10 on fire, right? So now a lot of men is like, listen, no. I'll save the conflict when for the conflict is necessary. All right? But it's a lot of things men just don't engage in. Right. And but hey, thank the Most High that you've come to that epiphany, and that you did what it could to save your family. And all praises be to the Most High. All right, because
the water higher.
Yeah. Bless you. All right.
The water, elder.
I see other people can relate to that, huh? We're talking about, that makeup love is the best. What, you got to start a fight? Yo, man, Lord have mercy. 251 area code. Let's go. Only got a few more calls, and of course we have an early show tonight. I don't want to do any overkill here. I'll pick this up week 7 in the academy. You don't want to miss it. No caller. Okay, that's who that is. Brother Will has a comment.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom, Brother Will. How are you?
I'm blessed by the best. I just want to commend you on the information you received. I just want to just hit on a quick point real quick, Elder, if I may.
Go ahead.
I like how you got those white papers and you talked about that age group from 25 to 44, and I'm glad that you took it down from 18 from the age 18. What I'm not afraid to say, I'm old school. I'm 52 years old. I feel like I'm in good shape. I grew up in an area where we were mainly the only black family, because my dad being an anesthesiologist, my mom being a nurse in her profession. Okay. And I remember back in the day going through so many things with, just racial differences. We were the only black family, but, living in a community with whites and Hispanics, where back then it was taboo for interracial dating. So as I've grown up and I've looked at the situation, like the brother said before, things have changed, and things are changing drastically. And I just want to touch on that age group from 18 to 25. What I've noticed, Elder, in society right now is the younger women are now looking at older men. And to me, that's kind of alarming to me, because when I look at it, I stop to think at my age, I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you all are barely getting out of high school, barely starting college. And a lot of these girls, they're younger. They're not mentally, you don't say old enough to be, experiencing these things, looking at these things. But, and I'm not afraid to say, I've talked to a couple of them, and asked them, what type of relationship you looking for? And them seeing me and in the way I carry myself, what's my character and being, a man of God, they'll talk to me and say, well, you're different. You open doors, you say thank you. You have these good qualities. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that, and we don't find that in our men today. And so, you know what? I'm glad you're bringing this up, because that's alarming to me. Because, like you said, with the social engineering, it's almost like everything is being targeted at them, to where, especially if there's no band in the house, where they're looking for older men and, trying to deal with them.
Hold on.
But,
let me correct. Let me correct one thing, because I believe that men in general, we men, keeping our head down, working, and not really paying attention to women conversation. We've just gotten invited to the party. Okay, I think online have given us an insight to women that we didn't pay attention to, growing up. Let me correct something. Young women has always, since the beginning of time, loved older men.
Okay.
It's not a new phenomenon. We're just getting newly invited to the party. We just figured this out.
Okay. Okay, because you know what? Because sometimes I got to check myself and think, it's just foreign to me because I grew up like, boys to men, things like that. It was different.
Yeah.
It's just, that's all I'm feeling. Yes, sir.
No, it has always been that way. All right. It has always been that way.
All right.
All right. So it's nothing new going on. All right.
Okay.
All right. Bless you, my brother. Anything else you have?
No, that's it, Elder. And and I also just to end, I appreciate what you said about as it made me realize once I get myself in position, and once I'm in position and following the word, of course, then you'll be then God will bring you to help me. Shalom.
Shalom. And I want to say something because I talked really quick. I talked about my son, right, who is in college, right? STEM engineer. He actually created an invention growing up in school at the age of 16. And then I used to talk with him all the time, right? Because he felt I'm a nerd, or people looked at him as a nerd, right? And I'm looking at him at a young age. Soon as he went to college, right, it was a lot of young girls who wanted to, on a track and want to do the fast thing, the hot girl summer. And I was telling him, and he was down with that at first, but I'm like, listen, you gotta there's women in the church, valuable people, right? But as soon as when he was a freshman, all of these white girls was trying to press up on him, right? And I said, son, all due respect, I'm not racist, but I would like to have a child who looks like us, okay? But all the sisters were looking at him like he wasn't, who's he, right? I said, son, don't worry about it. In a few years, you'll realize your worth. You're a man who cares. You fear God, all right? Stay on your purpose, right? And he's about to graduate. I'm proud of him. He's going to be one of those engineers that we'll need in the wilderness, mind you, right? And I told him what was going to happen because I'm like, son, watch what happens, all right? Here he is. Where is he? Let's see. I got a picture of him. There it is. Here he is now. Now that he's about to graduate. And now he understands what I was telling him, right? Right? I told him to be patient. You wouldn't believe it or not, all the sisters who couldn't see what he would become. And I told him. Not only that, he got job offers all over the place. Engineer. Okay? He can choose the field. I told him, keep your head down, stay in prayer, keep your eyes in the book. Right? That's right. My boy. He's a little taller than me, but I told him what he would become. I'm like, listen, son, they don't know yet, but don't try. Listen, let them have their hot girl summer. Because you have a long life after college. And as a freshman, it seemed like the white girls knew from the beginning how much he would make coming out of college, and they was around. But I said, listen, son, we ain't going to do that. All due respect. You got to find someone who looks like me. So get into your work and make sure when you're married, you bring forth a black child for me. But that's an example. But many nights he was hurting. And who was hurting him? It was sisters that was hurting him. Okay. But I said, son, believe me, they probably got about 4 years of this. 3 years before the pumpkin, before the carriage turns back into a pumpkin. The reality of their life will be after college. Okay? Don't even worry about that. You know who you are, and I know what you're going to become. Okay? And hey, that's all I can say right now. But I believe through the Spirit of the Most High, with what this man have learned engineering-wise, it's going to pay its dividends. He's already had an invention at the age of 16. So whatever we need for energy and all these other things we're going to need, I know that young man has to have the brain to help us wilderness time. And that's a good-looking kid. Praise the Most High. They wanted to have a hot girl summer. I told them, listen, let them have a hot girl summer. But now he realized he done growed into himself. He understand that, listen, I've worked to obtain and get to where I am. And guess what? My choice would be someone who's willing to work as hard as I've worked. And I said, listen, we're not dealing with nothing less than traditional values. I don't care if she has an education. I don't care about whether or not she have degrees. Can she help finish your ideas? Can she help meet your ambition? Next call. But if she do have a degree, that's nice too. But that's the lowest on the totem pole here. 7-3 Sister Jackie has a comment. Shalom.
Shalom, Elder. Shalom, how are you?
I'm blessed by the best. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for taking my call.
Bless you.
Double honors to you, Elder Lawyer, my Elder Dale, Bishop Azan, all of y'all, all the leaders of GOCC. There's so many of y'all. And I love all y'all for what y'all have imparted into me. Okay. So I've been in the truth now for about 10 years or so. And also I've been in the academy like 40 of them. Got to be. I've only missed like 2 since around 2012, 13 when I came into the knowledge. I'm still loving it, growing from it. Thanks. I wanted to say, now I've been divorced since around 2006, and I've never been married again, though even after coming into the knowledge after 2013, I've had relationships, all wrong, I might add.
When you hold up. When you said you had relationships all wrong, what do you mean by that?
Yes. They were all wrong, bad choices on my part.
All right.
Yeah. But I haven't given up hope of having a husband.
See, but sister, real quick, hold up. I'm gonna let you go, but that comes in part. With women choosing instead of men they trust. When I was coming up, the father vetted any young man interested in his daughter. So that's what it comes with. Mm-hmm. Women, yeah, you can choose and all that, but it's going to be a man who's going to make the final decision on whether or not this person fits long-term for our family plans. And I think that's the mistake we're making, because women who are emotional can make emotional decisions in the moment. They can like someone because the little girls in her circles find a guy cute. And now they can brag that they got this guy when it should have been a greater requirement outside of whether or not he had physical attraction. And I think the issue is men aren't in the process of choosing for women anymore. But go on.
Well, most of them chose me, but of course I had to say, okay, yes. So when I say I wrong choice.
But what man, of course, let me tell you, women get approached. Don't forget, women are in their prime from the age that they begin to sprout out and can have children. Women always have men approach them. That's women are approached more than men, period, for sexual advancements and everything else. That's just the way of life. So yes.
Yeah.
But what man did you have in place to vet these men who were interested in you?
Right. Well, yeah. I never relied on that. I mean, I would have. If my father he died when I was 3. So, and my mom never remarried again.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Not until college. But, so there wasn't a man. I'm not using that as a crutch or anything like that, but it would have been nice to see
sister,
some
I'm not saying this to you in general because I'm talking to thousands of people. I'm putting it out there for young women to understand. Just because someone is interested in you doesn't mean they're going to be with you. So they should have a vetting process in place where men they trust or a man that they respect can vet people. Okay? And not whether or not you're in a circle of girls and because he like you outside of these girls, you're going to now allow him in. That's the wrong way to make a decision based on a circle of girls. It's wrong. Because then when it doesn't go well, now you got to have a conversation with them to slowly turn them into understanding why that relationship didn't work out. Right? to not be embarrassed, right? So the whole thing is, and not to say it's 100% that it'll work, but it's good to have an option where a man who cares for you is in place to help with the vetting process. That's all. All right? But go on.
And like I said, I have enough hope. And, never have I been one of those to be like, I don't really need a man. I'm educated. I make my own money, yada, yada, yada. That's never been me.
Hold up, sister. I got to answer something. Hold up. See, this is where men have to come in and correct things. Felicia Henry says, was that Felicia Henry? Who says that? She's 50. No, let me go there. Someone says that where I grew up, I'm 53 years old, and when I grew up, the men didn't want the plain Janes. They wanted the fast girls. No. Wrong. No. No. I think women confuse attraction and a young man trying to soar his little oats as him wanting the fast girl. Nah. Coming up, he dealt with the fast girl. But he never looked to marry the fast girl. He will marry the plain Jane. And I think that's where women are getting confused at. They see a young man they want going after the fast girl, believing that's who the man wants. No. Men's feelings are different than women's feelings, okay? That's who they wanted to just deal with. Carnality, okay, coming up. But they want to marry. They want to be able to look their wife in the face and not be ashamed that this is the woman that's going to bring forth my children. That's the plain Jane. So I think women confuse a man going with a fast girl with him wanting to be with her. No. But go ahead, Sister Jackie. We're trying to correct these thinkings because men has different feelings than women. Women, they were just soaring their oats. It was still wrong, but they had no intention of being with. They want the plain Jane. They want to be able to say, that my children They want their children with a woman they can be proud of. So I think women confuse that with they wanted the fast girl, so I got to be fast like her. No, the plain Jane wins. Go ahead, Sister Jackie. I'm sorry.
And side note, I feel like I've turned into, I ain't never been no beauty queen or nothing like that. I feel like I've turned into the plain Jane because back in the day when...
No, Felicia, it wasn't you. I know it wasn't you, Felicia. I lost, people are chatting so quick, I lost track and I didn't feel like looking for it. I know it wasn't you, Felicia. But go on, I'm sorry. I'm going to let you flow.
Yeah, the plain Jane. It just made me think of how I've been out of the whole scene of makeup, all of that stuff. I wouldn't step out of the house without makeup on back in the day before I came into GOCC. And then I had to get to the point where I had to, actually start loving myself, looking at myself in the mirror without the lashes and the makeup and all of that. And really, I don't want to say falling in love with myself, but I had to grow to love what I saw in the mirror. And even now, still, I'm 47 years old. And this is now that I'm older, not married, and I will never give up on that. But in giving away doing away with the makeup and all of that, it was a process for me to even feel desirable, and now my skin is back right again because that stuff will mess up your skin. But
hey, sister,
anyway, that was.
Hey, sister, let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't women check with men concerning these eyelashes?
Why didn't they check with the men?
Yeah, because men don't want them.
But they never said they didn't like them. At least in my, the one.
Sister, here it is. We got to listen. We got to correct that again. All right. The men are interested in just the physicality of the woman. They're tolerating the eyelashes.
I know that now.
They're not with the woman for the eyelashes. If a man had his choice, he would say, I don't want none of that stuff. I don't even know why the women don't listen to men. They think because men are dealing with them, that's what a man wants. When really, those are all the options a man have to be with a woman. Men are burying it. Men are tolerating it. But now men are saying, you know what? Hey, y'all don't want to listen to us? I'll tell you what. Hey, this is where we're going with those percentages. Men don't want it. Men are saying they don't want it, and then women are still forcing it on men. Men don't want it. Listen. Men don't want the hair. Men don't want the eyelashes. Men don't want all the makeup. It's really the physicality of a woman is what a man is attracted to, because growing up, the physicality show her means to be able to be fertile and bring forth children. And I think women are confusing that with the aesthetics. This is why growing up, the woman, even if she ain't look as good in the face as other women, if she had the body, that would excel her above other women. It was the physicality thing. Men keep saying, listen, I can work with everything else, but all these aesthetics, it's a waste of money, and men don't want it. You look like someone else. And in a time where we're dealing with this transsexual thing, men want to know. Now transsexuals are disguising themselves with the aesthetics that women have put on themselves. And now that has placed men in a precarious situation where they don't know how to approach this person, because if it's a man, then guess what? Fists are drawn. So men are saying, help us out, because there's a lane that's happening here. That's what men are saying. that now men are able to creep in and actually hide themselves amongst our women.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm going to say, we're going to talk about that week 7 in the academy. We're going to have a round table on that. Thank you, sister.
Okay, thanks, Elder.
All right, bless you.
Shalom.
Brother Steve.
Shalom. Shalom,
Man,
Elder. All praise to the
it's
Most
all
High.
types of scriptures popping into my mind right now. You know, but I'm we're going to deal with that week 7. 737 area code.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, Elder. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All praise to the Most High. I just want to say, your ministry has been a blessing to me, and I just want to, just tell you to keep on keeping on. You just really opened my eyes to a lot.
Praise the Most High.
Yes, sir. And I'm actually on February 5th. I'm actually have a schedule. I'm actually scheduled to be married on February the 5th. I actually come from the millennial generation. I'm 39. My fiance, she's 31.
Okay.
And I just want to say this to encourage the men out there that there's someone out there for everybody. And the way that she encourages me, the way that she builds me up, she always says how handsome I am. She always encourages me, pours into me, and we're living in a time right now where the biblical principle of things have been reversed, have been twisted. And, the Bible says, how can two walk together except they must agree? The woman, now the enemy has put the woman as the head and the man under, beneath. And until we walk according to what the Bible says and to walk into, the way God created the order of things between man and woman, you'll flourish. It's going to work out. And, I'm just so thankful for how she is to me because, it's like a diamond. It's like a needle in a haystack. I'm not saying they're not out there. They are out there, but it's just waiting on the Most High and his timing. And, he'll bring that together, And, it's sad that we live in a society that women are, like this movie. I never seen The Woman King. When I heard about that, I was like, wow, Woman King. I mean, why is the woman constantly being exalted like that? And the church is not talking about this. They're not teaching this. And then when a man wants to speak out, and out of love, I was raised by my grandmother, so I come from that generation where grandmother was really strong, and I was raised by my grandmother. So I have the most utmost respect for women. But at the same time, it's like when a man wants to, talk about this and put things in perspective, it's like women are it's like you can't, without being brutalized, people are gonna look at you like, well, you brutalized a woman. Why are you saying this?
You mean bashing? I got you. Come on. I need you to land it because there's something I need to do. And you need to wrap it up because there's a few things I got to talk about. So wrap it up for me, Steve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm just saying, I just wanted to say that, I just wanted to make a comment, and just say that, as long as we line up with the Most High and his word, and, with the scriptures, what the scripture has said, it'll flourish, but the enemy has twisted everything. We have to come back to the Most High's word when it's considering a man and a woman.
Well, thank you, Brother Steve, and congratulations. Bless you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, real quick, I'm going to show this. Of course, we're dealing with our week 7 lesson. What have happened to man and woman? That's going to be the title, week 7. What has happened to man and woman? But that's in the academy. But I'm going to show you the danger of modern day aesthetics. What do we have here? We have a potato. We have a potato. This is what we expect for women today, to do this. Okay, let me paint on my eyebrows. Now, this is the potato. Now, I'm going to get straight to it. Let me get straight to it. That's a potato, folks. Yep. Now, mind you, a lot of people don't know foundation was usually for other races of people. Black people already have foundation. It's called melanin. This is a potato, folks. It wouldn't be done unless they do what? Let me get to the eyebrows. Let me get to the eyelashes. This is a potato. There you go. This is a potato, folks. A potato. Look at this. Now, if they can do this to a potato, men, what chance do men have in knowing exactly who he's running into out here? If they can do this to a potato, someone says that potato is on fleek. Y'all something else, boy. That's a potato, folks. This is what we have to deal with now. All right, let's go down the line. There's 23 seconds before the call's end. Sister Cynthia, let's see. Sister Tamia. Sister Tamia, you're live. Shalom, Tamia. You there?
All right, let's go down the line.
Hello? Hello?
Yes. Please turn off the back, please, Tamia.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me now, Elder?
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. I just want to agree on everything that you said, and especially with the young lady, what she said about, how females, how she used to act towards her boyfriend, how she felt like she was losing him because she felt like he was cheating on her and stuff. And I agree with her because I'm not gonna lie, I do the same thing.
What you mean you do the same thing? What is it you do?
Like, okay.
You start you pick
like
fights.
With my boyfriend. Yes.
Why?
I do. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I don't know. I just like kind of feel like that me and him is not together all the time. So now I feel like, okay, I don't know what he's doing. So now I'm picking fights.
So let me ask you this: why can't you leave just well enough alone? What's wrong with leaving?
Repeat that question, Elder.
What's wrong? What's wrong with leaving well enough alone? If there isn't a problem, why can't you just let it be that? Don't you know a man long term will be with the woman if she's his peace? The Bible says a woman should be for a man a pillar of rest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there will be reasons for you to actually show concern, but why seek an argument when there's no reason to do so? What's wrong with there just being peace?
I'm sorry, Elder, you're cutting out.
I'm asking, what's wrong with there just being peace? If there's nothing to argue about, if he didn't actually do anything to you, why create issues that doesn't exist?
I don't know. I haven't had a proper father figure. So I don't know how to be properly treated. So when he came into my life, I just had my guard up.
Okay, so
and I never
so let's
had
turn.
a man treat
Hold up,
me like
sister.
that.
Hold up, sister. Let's flip it. Let's flip it. You come into his life, and he judge and treat you as if you did something to him. How would you feel?
Mm-hmm. I would feel hurtful.
All right, so let's flip it back. What's wrong with just having peace when there's no reason to argue?
It's nothing wrong.
How old are you?
24.
Sis, the Bible says you must be a pillar of rest.
Mm-hmm.
Try for your own sanity, for your own peace, to make peace. Christ said in Matthew 5, blessed are the peacemakers, for theirs are the kingdom of heaven. That's dysfunctional to start a fight just to start a fight. Now, if you feel that he's not spending enough time and he's ignoring you, right? That's no reason to pick a fight. Now you must go into your femininity and you know, do what it takes as a woman to draw him into you.
Mm-hmm.
Not fight him.
Right.
You must now understand your power as a woman to draw him in. Make him want to be home. Okay? You know, ask him. There's things out there that you can buy that will attract him, and he will be home if he's attracted to what's there. But the Bible tell you, I would rather be in a home with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a woman of many words.
Right.
A man wants peace when he's there. So don't get mad and wonder why he's not there. Make it so when he's not there, he's missing you.
Can I say something, Elder?
Go on.
Okay. So it's a reason why we're not in the same household. We are in two different households. We used to be in the same household.
See, y'all got a
So
lot
now
of
we
other
are
stuff.
in-
Listen, y'all got a lot of stuff going on there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what you need, are you in the church?
He brought me to the truth. I follow.
Okay. He introduced you to some information online. Okay. That's not a
Yes.
that's not a relationship. Okay. Is he doing what it takes to court you so that you can be an helpmeet for him?
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
okay, so
something tells me that there's a long conversation attached to this. All right, sister, someone introducing you to some scriptures and the truth, with you being in two separate households, isn't a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all playing boyfriend and girlfriends here. I'm having marriage discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
Yes.
did he go to your father for your hand in marriage?
Yes.
Okay, so when is that happening?
Oh, you talking about hand in marriage? No, he didn't. He didn't do that yet. We just, like you said, boyfriend and girlfriend.
All right. I'll tell you what. You stick on in there. You know, y'all courting right now. Continue to listen, sister. And I'm going to put out a lot of information, wisdom information that can actually help you, as if a father was teaching you. So keep your ear to the ground and don't make any spontaneous, I would say, decisions concerning your life. There's a lot you need to get together for yourself. That's why I tell you about young virgins. Young virgins should stay chaste and build yourself up, because the dysfunction that comes with not having a father around you will have you make the wrong choices. You must grow your wisdom in preparation to be a wife. Right now, you're picking fights. You're doing a lot of things girls do. And that's nothing wrong. You're young, but it's time to build yourself before thinking about being a wife to a husband.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If I was your father, I would say all bets are off on this one. I would say, listen, thank you for introducing her to the videos, but she needs to grow under some guidance as a young virgin in preparation for a husband. Or you're going to have fights on your hand on a daily basis.
All right.
Right now, this woman, all due respect, I don't know his faults, but you're on the phone. Right now, you fight to get what you want. That's what you're used to. And that's something that's in our community, a dysfunction that the Most High is fixing slowly. But you have to fix that before you can be peace for a husband.
Right.
Right? Got it?
Yes.
But
Yes.
but the fact you're willing to talk about it openly, hey, you will be a good young lady for someone. You know, but grow, not fix, but grow in the wisdom of the Most High and on how to become a virtuous young lady. That's more important than becoming a wife right now for someone when both of you are dealing with issues, y'all separate. I mean, it's too early. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you, sister.
Thank you.
All right. Bless you. All right. We only got a few more calls. The phones are over. They've ended. We had that. Cynthia has a question and comment. Yes.
Shalom, Elder. How are you?
I'm blessed by the best, and I thought I'd be out by now, but I wanted to make sure we get all these calls in. I'm blessed.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call. I just had a quick question or
Yes.
an admission, and I may be wrong, and if I am, please pray for me. I just have a problem with, well, I would like to ask, what extent can Judah mix? Because I have a problem with the black men marrying these white women and other races, because I feel like we have lost out on our black men, and that destroys our families.
Okay.
So I don't like
listen,
to see that.
Listen, I'm glad you're honest, and I'm glad you're asking the question. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a problem with black men of means in particular choosing other women, right?
Actually,
White women.
all of them, but especially the more successful ones.
So should your aim be towards them or speaking with women and asking them, what can we do that will stop our men from choosing other women?
Yeah, I guess I better pray on that, because I sure want to know the answer.
No.
Listen.
Listen. See, you see how you just went left without processing that? Because what I said is the answer to how we end this. What I just brought forth is what women are afraid to do. Women are afraid of other women. And yet you project and attack the men for the choices he's forced to make if a woman isn't giving a man what he wants. You're looking at the end result, but you don't see my example I've put out there years ago. I told people about this years ago in the academy. My son was young. He wasn't filled out yet. He was new in college, and it was the sisters, the young sisters who didn't see his potential, clowning him until he grew into himself. And now with all these other women and white women see he grew into himself, now they get mad claiming that that other women is trying to take their man when he wanted her first. You see that? So the conversation has to be, because black men want black women. Y'all have to be able to talk to and with each other without being afraid to be honest. And you to ask women, What can we do to keep our men? They're leaving us. Now, my son has, found, praise the Most High, not only an educated, but a very humble, traditional, and beautiful black young lady.
That's wonderful.
But guess what? If he wasn't strong and didn't have me in his corner, those women could have broken him in his freshman years. I had to talk him through this when a girl he liked wanted a hot girl summer. And eventually she's going to be back where she came from, not realizing she let go of a man that's going to do great things. And then she's going to grow up resentful when she had the opportunity. When other women are going to college to find the best candidate who can take them and put them in the suburbs and take care of them. They're not there just for a hot girl summer. So what I'm showing you, sister, no, listen to me. I need you to focus real quick. The answer is, have you ever went to sisters and had a conversation without men and asked sisters, what can we do to keep our black men? We're losing them.
No, I didn't, and that's a great idea.
Don't you think we're well beyond the time for that conversation, for y'all to have that conversation?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
especially me, because I'm a lot older.
Because sister, this is what you don't know. 50% of black men are single and childless. The only reason people are focusing on black men with white women, because these are the men with reputation that the world can see. And that's a small minority. The majority of black men marry black women.
But we're not supposed to mix with all races, right?
Listen. If I had my choice about it, the Bible says we're supposed to stay within our race. That's what the Bible says.
Right.
But what Elder Ricard Shiar is saying here with the Bible isn't going to change the choices men are making or feel they're forced to make when their women aren't complying with them. Okay? If these women were biblical women who would submit, we wouldn't have this conversation, would we? That means now a Bible man, a man who believes in God, who wants traditional values, will get that by default. But now that almost all is lost, it's like now put it out there with the Bible to force men to be with women who refuse to follow the word and submit to a husband. So now this conversation is beyond men. Men are now reacting to all of the conversation of, I don't need a man. I'm good by myself. I'm independent. I'm boss. I'm this. Men are just responding now. And now the women who can actually be there for them and submit to them have offered up themselves. Okay, so now it's time for our women to realize, okay, no matter how much shaming is happening, how much we're saying we don't care is happening, we're going to have a different conversation if we want to be married by when the hell break loose around 2030. And that conversation have nothing to do with men. Women have to get together and say, listen, it's our fault now that a lot of these men are looking other places because we told them we don't want them, we don't need them. What a man is supposed to do? Sit there and just feel defeated? Embarrassed?
Right. We were hoodwinked. What they say, bamboozled and led astray.
Yeah.
They told us to tell our men that we didn't want them. We want our men, but now they wanted our men too. So it's just the same thing as they've been doing to us.
Sister, the whole thing is, at one time they wanted our men and couldn't have them. So they was like, well, okay, how can we do this? It was a social engineered plan to separate man from woman. I'm going to be talking about that. And guess what? It's not just a black problem. White men right now are going into other countries because their white girls are out there having a hot girl summer with black men. That's what's going on. It's Sodom and Gomorrah. It's crazy. But it's going to come down to those who want to do what? Come back to the Most High and set up traditional values. There's still hope for the few who want it. And that's what we're talking about. That's all we're discussing. But sister, there's no conversation you can have for the men anymore. The women have to have a conversation on how they can keep their men who have now left the plantation, literally. Okay?
Thank you. That's something I'm going to be praying on. Thank you for that insight, because, it's bothered me all along. But,
yeah, I can understand why so, but that's the wrong view. The wrong view is now we have to look inwardly and ask why. These women are now, listen, these women who used to be quiet are now brazen. And now they're online saying, y'all don't want them, we got them. They was playing low for a minute as if they didn't exist, but they was watching the slow separation of black and man woman, black and men women, black men and black women the whole time, so that they can get access to the black men. Because why? They want to be taken care of after 40 and 50. See? They understand that they wasn't going to have their 18, 20-year-old body forever. They was like, hey, I need a pool of other men who can take care of me. If my man don't want me from my country, I can get their men who's doing well to take care of me past 40 and 50. See, they
right, and that's what upsets me so much.
So I'm saying these other nations were looking at the long game. You're right. There was some bamboozlement on either side that happened, but now the discussions are going on, and men are. I'm gonna tell you, the young men are saying, "Listen, it's cool. I'm just going to. If somebody tell me they don't need me." Last thing a man needs is to feel he's unneeded. You don't know how defeated that is for a man. That's defeating.
Yeah, I can imagine, because
that's defeating. So any man that has any salt with himself will say, you know what? I will go where I'm needed, where someone appreciate me and will not berate me or make me feel less than. And a man should. All right.
Well, I do understand their offspring will be still black.
Yeah, their offspring will be Israel. But the whole thing is that
we're losing.
Yeah, it's still going to be an Israelite, but still, it would be great if we come to some level of resolution. If now women humble themselves and say, we were tricked. We do want our man. It's not settling for our men. $40,000 a year isn't that bad if I'm making $40,000 and we can put it together and invest and do a business and we can both make $100,000, $200,000 together. I'm gonna knock down all these crazy standards and know that a man with ambition is good enough. All right. Thank you, sister.
Thank you, Elder. Have a blessed one.
You're welcome. Bless you. All right, we only got a few more. We have now, let's see, Brother Courtney. Brother Courtney has a comment.
Hello?
Yes, please turn off the background.
Sorry, sir. Hello?
Yes, you're live. Courtney.
Hello, Elder. I just want to say I thank the Most High for guiding me over to this lesson and all your other lessons from the past.
All right.
I had recently found out about this channel when I was in my senior of high school, which was 2 years ago, and I could confidently say I learned a lot more compared to my time in high school, because it was like a Catholic school, and I can just, no words can explain how grateful I am to find out who I am and how I can improve myself and how I can be a better man of God.
Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High.
I remember many times when I was like in religion classes, we never actually read the Bible. We had like working on these workbooks, and I had so many questions about how can I put my relation with the Most High, what is sin, or what I'm supposed to do, what am I supposed to do for the Bible, and these questions are either ignored or say in a way that wasn't really satisfying or actually answer my questions, and I felt kind of at the time I felt like Christianity wasn't really, or the Bible actually wasn't true. But I can just remember that my dad was one time away because he was watching a video, one of your videos, and saw him. I sat down, and it was the video I remember. It was about one of the videos about the 12 tribes of Israel, and I watched it with him. And I can say, at that time, I just had to sit down. I couldn't explain how I felt, but I was just felt so happy about who I am, who I am to the Most High, about my identity. I was very ecstatic, and after that day, I saw so many of your videos about dietary law, the many books in the Old Testament. Right now, I actually have 2 notebooks that are actually filled with notes about watching these videos and every free time I can get. Right now, I'm in college. I don't have that much time, but since I'm on break, I'm going to take as much time as I can, besides with my family, to watch more of your videos.
Well, hey, brother, it's a blessing to hear your transition, right? From high school, you went through what you would call a small hurdle, because Christianity itself almost left you not believing at all. That's deep, that Christianity can spurn the spirit of atheism, right? But when we taught you the Bible, you realize how true the Bible was, and through that, God kept you in the Word. Profound. What is your question?
My question is, I remember I was watching many of your videos, and they had like the strong concordance about the Hebrew, and I was wondering, is it like a website about that, or is for your Hebrew Bible Academy program? Because I would like to know many like translations about it, because I know there's many mistranslations, or they have a different meaning in Hebrew, and I would like to have know about that so I can write that in my notes.
Everything you're asking about is in the Hebrew Bible Academy class. It's 12 weeks.
Okay.
But even if you can't be there Sunday, these are pre-recorded where we give you a link and you can see them at any time at your own leisure. The same as at night when you just click on a video and look at our teachings. You can have that at your disposal. Just focus on
I do that
Yeah.
I do that any I can.
Yeah. So if you join the Hebrew Bible Academy, you don't have to be there. You can just have it and see the Hebrew portion at your own convenience. But it's really a class, so you need to take each step of it. So you go to historytimes.org and enroll, and you get the PDFs. Everything is in front of you. Where even without the video, you can learn a lot of Hebrew strictly with the PDFs we put together for class.
All right.
All right.
All right.
My brother from another mother, or same mother anyway. Jacob is our father. Bless you.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Shalom. Brother Jalen, we only have 3 more calls, and this will conclude our broadcast for this evening. Brother Jalen.
Shalom. Shalom. How are you doing today, Elder?
I'm blessed by the Almighty. The floor is yours.
Hey, yo, listen, I've been waiting. I've never been able to catch a live stream or anything like that. But I know you're staying a lot past your time and whatnot. And I'm just trying to tell you that the work that you've done over the last 10 years, I've consumed it over the last 2 years that I've been in the truth, along with the brothers at IUIC. But as far as the topic of today, women, as a man who used to be in sin and used to run around doing this little thing, being attractive or whatever the case may be, a lot of the stuff you said today is true. And with dealing with all these women, you come to realize that even with the subtle responses you get from even the older women,
Hey, brother.
when you point
Hey,
out
brother.
flaws,
Hey, brother. You go into a quiet area for us, okay? I really want to get what you're saying. All right.
see, I'm a man with two jobs, so I'm doing the work. So that's what that was. I apologize. I was
Okay.
back for a moment.
No problem.
But so like I said, so with the subtle responses that women give when they're corrected or just shown another way of thinking, they're often offended, and now you can't have a discussion to where you can build from. That's where a lot of the problems stem from. And expediently, while I was in this room, I went from Jody, from baby boy, to I make $55K a year in the last. I don't know. I've been doing it ever since. Like I said, it's a complete 180 from when I came into the truth, from when I was just in the world. And I just wanted to credit you and give some credence to the hard work that you guys do.
Well, thank you, my brother. And you stay on your grind and follow the laws. And yeah. But in particular, you said something about sometimes women can't take what you're saying. They can't get over the offense, right? And therefore,
Yeah.
But then we have to learn how to communicate without offending, though, right?
I mean, understood, but anything can offend anyone, even if you say it in the nicest of terms, and in the calmest of tones.
That's true.
That's
true.
And if you can
but
even know,
but check it out.
I'm not.
I'm listening. See, this is why.
All right. So
listen. This is what I realize, and it's not our fault, but we have to as men, we have to be cognizant of this.
Right.
Black women in particular, it's used to being attacked. They used to being attacked. So listen to what listen to what I'm saying. No, listen. I'm gonna clear it up because I'm gonna be crystal clear. You're not gonna have to ask any questions. I'm not making a defense. I'm giving you a reality. If someone is on the bottom and is used to being kicked, they're going to have a defense mechanism by default, right? So I'm not giving no excuse for black women, but what I'm saying is we have to understand that element exists and find a way to communicate around the triggers. And the example I gave is I started out with showing white women and the damage they have done through pushing feminism. Now, sisters who see the broadcast will realize this is not an indictment on black women. Therefore, if we're balanced and showing that it's a woman issue, they'll be more ready to hear what we're saying. They're tired of being singled out. They're tired of being attacked. And I can understand it. And it's our position. Listen, it's our position as black men to understand that element and to protect them in those instances.
Right.
So we have to realize there's a balance and do it this way if you really want them to hear what we're saying.
Right.
That's all.
So I understand your point in totality, but what the counterpoint I was gonna make when I was attempting to cut you off was if you weren't you, maybe let's say I'm me, but like I said, I've absorbed a lot of the teaching, so it's like that you and others in this group have given. So if I was to give a lot of the same criticism to an older woman or any woman, the response would be different because you have a certain level of credibility in what you do on this platform. You understand what I'm saying? So you may not get a genuine response to criticism.
Listen, brother. So what you think is that they'll reject you and what you're saying because I'm a young man. Listen, because listen.
Where it's better to be liked than to be right.
No, brother. Brother, they're not going to ignore you or shun you because of that. They're going to listen. They're going to. You have to listen. There's a certain level of wisdom and tact that comes with expressing or conveying information. You have to
Right.
learn how to orate and to communicate. Even if you have the same information, you have to be skilled with the information. You have to become humble, learn again, and listen, and not seek to bring forth the information because it's right. You're sharing because you care about the person. That's a different level of teaching. Some things, even if it's right, don't need to be said.
I
So,
hear you.
so I got some. Listen, I have some.
Doesn't it say
Listen,
to
listen.
prove
This is
your
the
neighbor?
listen, brother. This is the advice I have to you.
I hear
You
you.
say you've been listening to us and IUIC. All due respect.
Correct.
Listen, you need to find one teacher who will.
Hey, yo, listen, I know.
No,
To and
see,
fro, I like
brother, you see how when I speak, you automatically respond before I finish what I'm saying? Do you listen? Listen, that's a problem. You know the Bible says never interrupt a man in his speech. So listen. So the problem isn't the people you're trying to convey the information to. So listen to me.
It's my approach.
Your approach. Thank you. I believe you got much potential, brother. Find one.
I appreciate it.
Find one teacher. If it's IUIC, listen. You're doing it again. It's a problem. You won't go too far like that. You won't go too far like that. You got to learn, brother. You have to learn to let silence happen between responses.
Understood.
And I'm sure I'm not the first person who have told you that. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So exactly. So find one teacher, even if it's IUIC.
You're my.
What? Okay. Find one teacher. Stay with that one teacher, and learn the patience under that teacher, and you'll be fine. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay.
Going on 26.
Okay, yeah. Brother, when I was your age, you know what I was? Guess.
What's going on?
Silent.
Lost. No, I mean, no, you weren't lost. I know your backstory. You were always kind of stupid.
Listen, I was silent.
Silent?
SILENT. I was under obedience to teachers until the Most High released me under the respect of my teachers to teach. When you learn that obedience, brother, everything that you want to do when it comes to convincing others and have them understanding what you're saying will happen without effort. It will happen, but learn obedience and learn to be ready to hear before speaking. And brother, you'll go a long way. All right?
Yeah, I understand. Thank you, McCall.
My brother. Bless you. Bless you. All right.
Bless you too.
All right. Brother Harold has a comment.
Hello?
Yes, Brother Harold.
How you doing? I just wanted to say, I think that the lessons you give Elder Ricard is really informational. Everything you have, I've paid attention to most of your videos, and everything you have said so far is facts.
Praise the
and
Most High.
I thank the Most High that there are people like you that is very helpful to young men like me. I'm only 24. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. But it's a real honor to just talk to you, Elder Ricard, and not just to be around this whole Christ of Gathering Church. Y'all guys are really helpful.
Well, thank you, brother. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to hear you, my brother. Bless you. I appreciate it.
No problem. That's all I want to say.
All right. Bless you. Thank you. That's what we're here for, my brother. We're here for you. All right. Last call for this evening, Sister Ronisha. Ronisha, she was the girl that I never had.
Hi, Elder.
Oh, Ronisha. How many times?
Barakatha.
How many times you heard that song?
This the first time.
All right, talk to me. How you doing?
All right, so I'm doing all right. I just wanted to stay on topic in regards to relationships between man and woman. I'm a woman, so I can only speak from a woman's point of view.
Yeah.
For me personally, I started in my development quite early on in life. I was also raised by my father. My father, he was born 1939, so he was an older man, grew up in the country, and he raised me on his own. And so those values stuck with me. He raised me up in the church early on, usher board, choir, there, Sunday, Wednesday, all of that. And so I feel like that foundation in itself did a lot for me as a young lady. He couldn't teach me the things that a woman could teach me, obviously. So he married when I was about 4 years old, and he married a woman of high value, not the type of value that we have here in society today is the standards of high value. But my stepmother, she was the sweetest, meekest, quietest woman that I've ever known. She didn't do drugs. She didn't smoke, drink. And she stayed in the room pretty much most of the day. She cleaned the house. She had very few words and always had a smile on her face. And she stayed in the Bible. Stayed in it. And she put a lot of value into raising me up modestly. So somewhere along the line, I started looking at boys. Boys started looking at me. And my dad, he was older, so, he was tired. He was tired, and he did the best that he could. And my stepmom, honestly, I was rogue. Okay, I was wild. And so she did the best that she could, but she was afraid of me. And by the time I turned, I want to say 14. Yeah, I think I was 14. My father passed away, and it was just me and my stepmom. Thank you. That's okay. You know what? I'm gonna see him again, so that's all right. Yeah. He did everything that he needed to do before he passed. I know that to be true, and the Most High raised me ever since then. So my stepmom, she did the best that she could, but I was wild. I mean, I'd be in other states. I'd be entertaining all kinds of guys, thinking that that's what I needed. And my values for church, they kind of took the back end, and I didn't really practice going to church like I should all throughout my teenage years. And then my stepmom, she just couldn't take it no more. By the time I turned, I want to say 21, I had already had 2 children, had my first daughter at 19, had my second daughter at 20. And my dad owned the house. He owned many houses. He had many different businesses and inheritances that he left behind for his children, and myself included. So my stepmom, she ended up going back to her parents' house, and she left me my dad's house. So from then on, the world really started to teach me a lot, as far as friends, as far as men, and, letting certain things happen. And then somewhere along the way, I got back into that Bible. I got back into the Word. I said, man, I don't want my girls to grow up, not knowing God.
Okay.
Because I didn't grow up like that. So I started going back to church, tried a couple of different churches, Kingdom Hall, just everywhere. Just started searching, looking as hard as I possibly could. And so then I finally came across GOCC through a friend.
Okay.
And things started to make sense to me.
Praise the Most High.
I started with GOCC when I was 23. I'm 33 now.
Look at that.
And I'm still learning. I'm proud to say that, I'm still on milk.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good. That's
still,
good.
still just now starting to get the mushy solids. Okay, but okay. So I'll just say that for me, where it started with the respect of my man, because now I have 7 children. After my first 2 girls, I met a good man. Come to find out, we had actually been in passing many years. We worked in the same place and didn't even know it. Like, to the point he had been watching me, like, weirdly so, because I'm like, this guy, he's weird. You know what I'm saying? In my spirit, I'm thinking he's weird, and I'm seeing him everywhere. And he just stares at me. You know what I'm saying? So then, hadn't seen him for some years after that, come back around, and the same guy. So he was sweet. He was different. You know, came with his own baggages, so did I. But we tried it out anyway. We have 6 children later. Well, no, I'm sorry, 5 children later, and we've been together now for the last 11 years.
Praise the Most High.
And yes, praise the Most High. Okay.
And I'm gonna
Now,
tell you this,
sister.
Sister. What I'm saying is, it's a blessing that you had an opportunity, even after making error at such a young age. Right.
Yes.
But the Most High still blessed you, right? Because I was coming up. He blessed you because there's many women now. There's this movement going on where men aren't trying to actually date or long-term women who have children. That's what's going on with this new generation.
Indeed.
So, hey.
Yes, Elder.
I'm glad it worked for you. I'm glad it worked.
Let me say, he did not have children. He didn't have children, and he had always wanted children of his own.
That's a good man.
So when I got pregnant, I mean, when I say it was one of those things where you would call starting off as a fling, so to say.
Yeah.
And I ended up pregnant doing that fling. Barely knew the guy, but we flinged, you know what I'm saying? And I cried many a days and many a nights about it, like, Lord, what is it? You know, I'm just now getting into this word. I'm just now starting to get a good relationship in there, getting my foot in there. And then you bring this guy, I barely know him. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm pregnant again. With my 3rd child. And so,
I know you talking about you fall to your knees and listen, talking about did God bring it?
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
You and him had something to do with it too. All right. But all in all, it worked. It worked out. And welcome to the Gathering of Christ Church, sister. All right.
Thank you. I just want to say one last thing, Elder.
Okay. I said Ronisha. I know. Listen, I know the song is Aisha, but you know, I just wanted to just throw my little thing
I don't even know what that song is.
You never heard Aisha?
No.
Man, that was our little jam coming up. You better type in YouTube Aisha. Come on, girl. I think that's
okay. I'm gonna look it up.
I think that's a group that R. Kelly actually produced. But go on.
Aisha.
Yeah, girl.
Okay, so I was just gonna say that
that's a hood classic.
we went through all of that, and my biggest thing was this.
Yeah.
Despite our unyokedness, I stayed. I stayed faithful, and he stayed. That's the key. He stayed.
Good.
And he chose me despite all of that. And we started going through this walk and this word together. He knew nothing about the word.
Look at that.
Like, I grew up in the word. He grew up in a Muslim household, Muslim and Jehovah's Witness household. I grew up in Christian or Baptist Christianity, whatever you want to call it. But
Okay.
I grew up like that.
I do have to break
Believing in the
down.
Trinity.
Sister, we do have to, the show, I mean, the broadcast is about to end, but what I'm asking is, are you saying that he's now in the truth with you?
Now he's in the truth with me, and we walking together.
Praise the Most High. Praise
We
the
walking
Most High.
together, and I used to be bitter. I used to be bitter in the fact of what I was called to do as a woman. And I feel like that's what the biggest thing with most women is. We are called to be the backbone no matter what. No matter what. I don't care what that man is doing. You're called to be his bone, his rib, his comforter,
There it
the
is.
nurturer.
Well, sister,
You know what I'm saying?
sister, I'm glad you understand your
Yes.
calling and you're not ashamed of it. Well, thank you, sister. And that is
No, I'm not.
that is a help meet to the man the Most High have sent into your life, and I'm glad you can appreciate it. This broadcast has been eye-opening, and I hope brothers and sisters receive it in the spirit we prepare it. We prepared it with the love and care to lead to conversations of healing, bringing God's people back together, understanding the importance of family. But hey, this discussion doesn't end. Week 7 of the Hebrew Bible Academy. That's right. Man on one side, women on the other. That's right. Can man and women survive? There will be a war that's coming, and keep in mind, when it breaks out by 2030, 50% of the women between 25 and 44 in America will have no man to protect them, according to the new data. Let's stay humble. Let's submit. And like my man Al Green said, let's stay together. With that, I'm going to say, let the Most High bless your home. Stay prayed up. Sin not. And keep in mind, the Most High is calling back Israel. Shalom. Good evening.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With the great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. So we be Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. The highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us. At gunpoint. Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. A high gatherer. Asher in Colombia. Reuben from Australia. Issachar, the Mexicans. A highest gathering Israel. Judah, the Negroes. Benjamin, the West Indians. Levi, the Haitians. A highest gathering Israel. Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon,